don't play my shit, I never had a gold plaque. My style is old school, but I swear this ain't a throwback. I put my visions into rhythms on a dope track. To understand the place I'm coming from, let's go back.
When I was 16, I was a sick teen, I was a victim of my head. I was just 16, up in the kitchen, racking up lines till my nose bled. 16, in an affliction, in an addiction with my dread. I was just 16, I was quite sick then, I was a prick then, I was a pleb, but fuck it, we're all misguided individuals, life can suck it. My cup ain't half full, man, I'm filling up the whole bucket. I'll drink my tears so I can drown my sorrow. Sing like I might die tomorrow. Live note for note, I go for broke on every single song I wrote. And every single song I write brings freedom to my weary mind. A healing that you'll only find inside an intricate design of kicks and snares and flat bass lines. I flip the script until I find my... It is what it is. I focus on my... Now run the track, run the track. Get it? Get it?
Hello?
Get it?
Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Kaz, you're still on mute, mate. You're still on mute, mate. Hello?
Nothing changes.
We got there in the end, didn't we?
Oh, I love that. I haven't jammed to that for a while, man.
Neither have I, mate. Neither have I. Now I need to... Could you just say something for me?
Skibidi-doo.
That'll do. Could you turn your mic down just a tiny bit?
Okay.
It's more me. Oh, no. Hold on. I've got it from this side. Hold on. Say something for me.
Hola. Check. Hola.
Oh, no. Let's... one more time.
Hola.
One more time.
Hola.
No, it doesn't make any difference at all.
Want me to try my end?
Doesn't make any difference at all. Do I? No, it's all good. We got there in the end, didn't we?
All right.
Now, I just need to check everything's working.
Okay, we got a few in. I can see we got 9.
I can see we got a few in, yeah, but it's the chat that's not working.
Oh, the chat's working my end, babe.
Oh, there, I've got it now. I've got it.
Yeah.
Do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello? Oh, mate, God, I haven't. This is the first live in what, 2 months?
And maybe a little bit longer.
It's my birthday. That was the 10th.
That was the last day.
The last day I posted was the 10th. That was Ren's film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Day
Yeah, it's
before.
been a while.
I'm just going to move you over here, and I am going to.
Where are you going?
I'm going to flip the phone around for a start. Hold on.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, he's flipping. He's flipping.
Flipping and flopping and flipping and flapping. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
We got Simon, Donna. We've got John Sealing. Oh, Johnny boy, how's it
John's
going,
in.
mate?
The John's not in. There's no way John's here.
He's in.
Oh my God.
What's it good in, babes? We got Abdullah.
There we go.
We've got
Glasses.
Georgina. And, of course, the beautiful Sam.
Oh, how we doing, babes? How we doing, peeps? It's been a while, isn't it? We got a few things to go through, haven't we?
And we just...
So I thought what we'll do is we'll set the tone. We got Mr. Roland over here.
Yo.
We've got the beautiful Kaz over in Wales.
Oh, I didn't get a beautiful.
Wow.
You're beautiful.
I don't want to say anything to offend
Sorry,
somebody.
I've been drinking all day.
My mama taught me a few things, and one of the things she taught me is
Don't
you haven't
lie.
got anything nice to say, don't say anything.
Oh, listen, if I was you, roll the pack the bags now, mate.
Yeah, I'm just going to slap him.
Either that or just tell him to sleep with one eye open. It terrifies him.
I thought you were going to say tell him to sleep with him. That would have been weird.
That'd been very bad for me.
Right, well, we've got lots to go through, mate. We've got lots to go through. Before we get into the official shit,
Yep.
should we just have a catch up like old time's sake?
Have a little natter. I'm sure everybody got a load of where you been, what you been doing questions.
There's an echo on your side, Kaz. I think that's my fault. So I think I'm going to turn that one down.
Echo is a newspaper, mate.
Guys, can you confirm if the echo has disappeared on Kaz's side, please? That would be appreciated. So
Echo.
How have you been, Kaz?
I've been really good, mate. I can't lie.
What have you been up to?
Where do I start?
How's the new car?
You've got a new car?
She's got a new car.
Yeah, I bought myself a new car.
Not just one new car.
Oh, no, we got two, haven't we?
She's got a fleet.
I got my
go in
own
on-
fleet of Dave coaches.
To go with her mansion.
Yep. Now we've bought ourselves a camper van converted, all ready to rock for a nice little trip to Scotland we got booked.
Oh, that's very nice.
Which I'm looking forward to. And we're going to Ireland as well because we met a family out there who were cracking and we said we'd go and see them.
When you say you met a family, do you mean you swapped car keys or you met them as in...
It's not the couple she met in York, is it?
is it the same Viking couple?
Did you go to York again?
Actually, we're booking York again. It was brilliant.
I bet it was.
I bet it was. Well, the sounds of it, there were axes and there were...
There was loads of Vikings, loads of axes, and it was great.
Have you been to a Viking swingers party before? I haven't.
No, I haven't. No.
What's it like,
Must be a
guys?
Welsh thing.
What's it like?
Basic.
Is it good?
Because you're convinced it's a swingers weekend anyway, so I'm just going with it.
Gang, I want to say hello to the chat, to the shout out to the chat. We got Glocky in the house, we got John in the house, we got Sam in the house, we got Sam in the house, we got Johnson in the house. Rebecca, how we doing, mate? She says it's been an emotional couple of days coming to this live and seeing you play Power has made me cry. Oh, it's like old time's sake. Do you know that'll be the last time we ever play Power on this show?
Yes.
Sorry, are we boring you?
No, I'm looking at the
It's
chat.
got places to be.
What's wrong with the chat?
No, I was just reading to see who was in. That was all. I was doing what you were doing.
Oh, I see.
Sorry. Yeah.
Donna's in the house. Who else have we got in it? Abdul's in the house. Chris is in the house. Georgina's in the house. And that's it. Guys, make yourself known. Say hello in the chat. This is the last one ever. Let's go out with a bang.
Oh, mate, I'm really happy, but I'm really sad all at the same time.
Why?
It's just like a line that we're drawing in the sand. It's not a line, like, it's just in the sand.
The chapter's closing.
And I like to say the sand. And you know why I like to say sand rather than like as a drawing a line under it?
Go on.
Because the wave comes in and out, things change, and things in the sand move.
She's a fucking philosopher. Mm-mm. When did this come out? She's turned into Dolly Parton. I love it, mate. Now, I need something to hold this up.
Oh my God. You need
That's what she
blue
said.
pills for that, mate.
What's that? Say that again.
There's blue pills for that.
Riley, what have you been up to, mate? What's been
What
going
have I
on?
been up to? Not a lot, really. No.
How's work?
Very good.
Nice.
I won some money this morning.
Did we tell you how much money you won?
I won some money.
Have you been on the gamblers in the old, what do
In
you
the
call
service station. Yes.
Yeah. See, they're a little bit empty because I haven't been back and forth. So well done.
So I just rinsed it.
How do I get rid of this fucking... How do I get rid of my box on your screen?
My box on your eye.
That's what she said. Get rid of your box.
Does any guys in the chat and using Discord, does anyone know how to get rid of my face? Because we've got my face on the big screen, obviously.
Obviously.
And then we've got another tiny little box on the...
And Kaz's box is little.
She's cold. Don't have a go. Oh, I can't figure it out.
Well, for that as well.
Oh, she's gone. There she is. All right, she's back. There we go.
You just put it over my face.
There we go. It's all good. It's all sorted. So you're good. Work's good. How
All
much money
good.
did you win this morning?
I won a total of £228.
Whoop whoop! Well done, Roly Roly.
It paid for the takeout tonight, didn't it?
He did.
Yeah.
Steve,
Which
treat,
we
what makes
all,
you
Steve
sad?
treated us to a kebab.
we're all
Oh,
very full.
Nice.
What did you say?
He doesn't tell you how much he spent and lost before he had that win, though, does he?
Well,
229.
It was like last week we did the same. We won £160 on the Bandit, right? Went out last night and lost 120. So what's the point? Do you know what I mean?
You're at 40. That's all right, isn't it?
Mate, I spent that on food. That was car mats for the new car today.
May I spend that on drugs and alcohol? What do you expect from me? Talking of drugs and alcohol,
Yes.
do you know what today is?
Saturday.
I do, but I'll let you say it.
Today is my 2-month token of being sober of cocaine and cocodamol.
Oh,
Oh,
what's that?
2 months. Thanks,
hang on.
mate.
For that one.
Thanks, mate.
Hang on. Read that.
No.
No.
Can't
My
hear a
sound
word.
was
Just
like
there in their
clap-
armpits.
Oh, clapping. Hold on. Knock, knock. Who's
clap
boobies?
this way.
Which one was clapping?
World exclusive. This is the.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's Lollybird! Oh, no. Stanza. No, I don't know where the clapping button is.
It should have been a whack, 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 whack.
Those buttons, I've forgotten to program those buttons. It literally has been 2 months. I posted the Ren movie on
No,
September the 10th.
You did a live on your birthday, I think.
Did I?
On the 11th,
He
did you?
didn't. He was going to, but he didn't do it.
Yeah, no, I don't think I did. I was
Didn't you do
hungover.
it?
That was the
No,
last
we
time.
were going to do it when I...
On your actual
Somewhere.
birthday,
The 10th. Was the barbecue on the
Monday.
10th?
on the Saturday.
Barbecue was the Saturday.
You did one on the Monday, I think.
Did I?
Very short one.
Hold on. Let's look at the YouTube. Let's look at the
From-
official
but
data.
we were going to do one on your birthday and then we had too much fun.
Then
do you
we had
remember?
too much fun. Hold on.
Yeah.
Lives. My last live was... Oh, no, I reviewed the video.
Yes.
I did review Ren's
Yes, you
video.
opened
I was
your
on the
birthday
sofa.
present, your
That's
little
it.
Teddy bear.
Okay, so that was on the 11th. So the 11th was the last live.
It's
So
a good job I've got a good memory,
It's a
isn't
good job
it?
you're fucking here, mate. 'cause
It is, yeah.
Uh,
It's been 6 months since we had a live.
I thought you said a line. I was like, we've never done drugs, Kaz.
Live, not line.
Yeah, it's been May, the end of May, wasn't it? End of March.
Yeah,
Can't remember. March, May. Can't remember now.
It's about 6 months, yeah, 5, 6 months,
It's
something
been a
like that.
while. Are you enjoying? Have you picked it up just like riding a bike?
Mate, let me tell you, I'm always here to pick stuff up like riding a bike. I love a good ride.
She's from Barry.
So 2 months without coke, 2 months without codeine, and I still smoke the natural plant that grows out of the ground. I'm going to have some later, in fact. So
Nice.
that's my plant-based medicine. But other than that, we're all clean and sober.
So, like, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions now then, okay?
I thought it
So-
was 3 months. Forgive me. I told 2 people on Instagram it was 3 months, and that's because in my head someone asked me how long I've been sober, and I went September, October, November. Oh, 3 months. So
Yeah.
I said 3 months, but I then worked it out cleverly because Sam picked me up and she goes, "It hasn't been 3 months. It's been 2 months," and I went, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
You did the
it's two-
dyslexic counting,
It's 2
didn't you?
months, yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. So, what have you found the benefits of that, mate? what have you found that's so much better in your life? For,
It's fucking boring, Kaz, if I'm honest with you. I just want... Mate, that's a great question. What has changed since getting sober? Sleeping better.
Wow.
Sleeping better is remarkable. So I've completely changed my routine. So we've got lots to talk about. We've got lots to go into. But
About it. I can't book in calls at 9 o'clock at night. It's too late. I'm in bed by 7.
But my routine now has completely changed. So I no longer have a phone. That was a gift from the universe. They took it off me. I was at Costa Rica last week, and on the Friday we went to a waterfall, and I was filming the whole retreat. And Terry goes, It's a huge waterfall. I wish I could show you photos. I wish I could show you photos. Massive waterfall, and behind the back of the waterfall was this, like the water had carved the back of it, so there was a cave behind the waterfall. Like proper paradilic, just incredible. So Terry, the owner, goes, "Oh, that'd be a great shot if you get behind that waterfall." I was like, "I'm on it, boss. Don't you?
Nah.
You hold my beer, mate. I'm going to get you the best shot possible." So I got my tripod, I got my phone, I started walking out to the waterfall, and then the current swept my feet and just phone. Well, I've never seen it since. That was the last time I saw my £1,500 phone.
Oh, mate. And you loved that phone.
That was attached to my hand.
That was literally you. That was little Dan.
My little Dan was attached to the other. So I have to admit, don't have a phone. I'd recommend not having a phone. I can see why Ed Sheeran does it.
Yeah, he won't have a phone at all, will he?
I don't think I'll ever have a phone ever again. No. If anyone needs to get hold of me, they'll WhatsApp me, and I've got WhatsApp on my computer. And so my routine now is I go to bed at 2 a.m. I'm a child of the moon, as Ren has helped me figure out.
Love.
I've got a lot to talk about him as well. We'll come back to that. So I go to bed at 2 a.m. and then I don't have a phone, don't have an alarm. But I stopped taking my phone up to bed 2 months ago. So around my birthday, I turned my phone off at 2 a.m., put it on the shelf, and then I go to sleep, no alarm. I wake up when my body wants me to wake up, which is usually about 8, 9 a.m. In spite of going to sleep at 2 a.m.,
Wow.
I'm still waking up about 8, 9 a.m., feel fresh, jump out of bed, and I don't pick my phone up until midday. So at midday, I've got an alarm that goes off, and then I what are you looking at?
I'm reading the comments.
Oh, well, don't worry about them.
I'm not.
They're here for the show, Steve. You're putting on for the show, Steve. Jesus, we're entertainers, Steve. Well, I am anyway. 12 o'clock, I connect back to WhatsApp and say hello to you lovely people. But between 2 a.m. and 12 noon, that's me. It's me time. That's me time. Yeah. Nobody talks to me now until 12 noon. Sam, even. I'm like, babe, I'll speak to you at 12 noon, love. Come back at 12 noon, and then we can have sex or whatever.
Till 12 o'clock, all right?
And what else has changed? So the phone has been the biggest one, to be honest, other than the drugs. The phone's been the biggest one, but also communication. I don't WhatsApp as many people as I used to. I phone them instead. That's been a big change, which has been great. Walking more. I go and see my cows. Got some cows now. You've met the cows.
So
I've met the cows a couple of times.
Do you want to tell them about the cows?
I've got some photos of the cows.
We're using your phone.
I am.
Yeah.
I just realised that.
We're using your phone to do my live.
They're very cute cows.
They're very cute, aren't they?
Yeah. They come running over as soon as they see you.
We're besties.
He's like a proper, what they call it, a cow wrangler.
Well, the
Little Dr. Doolittle.
so I've got my walking stick now. I've got me cowboy hat, and I've got me where is it? I've got me my quartz crystal, which Mickey gave to me. More on him later. And I'm like a proper hippie these days. Growing my beard out. Can you see the beard?
Yeah, I can see it's all long.
I mean, it's a good. What's that? An inch?
Oh, look at all that grey.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm growing mine out as well.
Yeah, you don't have a go at her grey hair.
There's a bit of competition there.
Talking of which, your hair looks lovely. Have you had it done recently?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just washed it.
This is how I woke up.
It is literally how I woke up. I'm not going to lie. I haven't done my hair today.
Oh, now you mention it, you could have put some makeup on as well.
Could have, yeah, but I couldn't be bothered. No, I'm joking. Clearly
It's
put
only
face
down,
on.
happy
Clearly put face on. But mate, that's amazing, accomplishment that you've like centered yourself down. You've made all these changes, and it's cool. I love it.
Thanks, mate. We'll go into all the specifics a bit later. So enough about me, because we're going to talk about me a lot in a minute. Let's talk about you guys. Should we put in a song? And then what song do you want?
Oh, don't put me on the spot. Which one do I want? I'll just go Whitney. I'm not having Whitney, though. I'm lying.
Whitney will get us blocked, bitch. Should we keep it Ren themed for the last one?
Yes, please. But I did, talking to music, do you know who I went to see the other night?
Go on.
Macy Gray.
Oh, you went to it in the end. The one we saw advertised. Was it good?
She was in Cal. She was brilliant. It's the only person I've ever seen in concert to have 2 drummers.
Oh, wow.
She had 2 drummers. It was incredible. It was just, she's vocally insane. She's fantastic.
Well, how long was it for?
It was an hour.
Oh, God. That's. I'll be honest. For a concert with Macy Gray, I would expect at least 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you would, but...
But was she good?
She was amazing. It was a very small venue, though. There was only 200 people there, so...
Oh, wow, so proper... Oh, that's not good if Macy Gray can't sell out a fucking... There was only 200 people there?
Yeah, only 200 people there. But that's all the venue holds anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like a 10,000 stadium, only 200 people turned up?
But again, it was like, I literally was like from here to like 3 doors away from my house from her. It was fantastic.
Oh,
I'll send you
wow.
some videos.
Mate, I look forward to seeing it. For now, guys, let's take it back. Let's take it back to the old school.
It's such a perfect day
you remember this
to
one,
be
mate?
washed away.
Yeah.
I went and sat by the shore.
It's like a funeral. I'm just like, oh, these are the days. These are the days.
And I counted the waves, I counted 108 reasons I want to escape. But then the reasons they crash upon the shore and they break. I don't think I've got the stamina for this anymore. I'm not sure, that's why I'm here by the shore. But I'm sure that I'm so tired of searching for messiahs, asking why must I battle this Goliath? I'm a force of nature, don't you know I'm aware of it? But I'm so very sick of feeling so very sick. I'm tortured by the gods, I guess that I'm a heretic. Life keeps on fucking me, I wish that life was celibate. My problems keep on peaking like the Everest. The elephant in the room is that my room is in the elephant. Becoming evident that we make fear president. When fear trumps love, that's when the soul becomes irrelevant. When my troubles keep on mounting, I make molehills out of mountains. Roundabouts of doubt is sounding, drown my youth inside the fountain. I'm a fucking atom bomb, bitch, pouring salt into the wound. Watch me rip apart the stitch. I'm that kid, the one that life subtracted, isolated, fractured, Shakespeare reenacted, adapted for music is too sick. I'm shining like Kubrick. My method is clockwork, a full metal dude with my eyes on the prize. Do you obey? Do you abide? What's the price of creativity? Is it losing your
It's just like old times, isn't it? It's just like old
Loving it.
times.
mind and seeing patterns in the places where the patterns are defined?
See now. Is John having a baby?
Where?
Somebody's having twins.
Baby, John's got a baby on the way. June the 5th. Find out Monday if it's just one of twins. The way she's dealing with stretching pains, she thinks it's twins. She has 3 other kids, so this is new to her, she said. Brother, congratulations, man. That's fucking epic. 6 months ago, you were struggling to find a woman. Now you got babies on the way.
Not just one, though. 2.
Possibly 2. Is it definitely twins or... Wow, brother. Congratulations, man. Look at that. Everyone's getting their heart's desires.
Yay.
That's nice, isn't it?
Oh, John, I'm so happy for you. That
Well
is
done, Johnny boy.
absolutely incredible.
That's awesome. I'm really
We
pleased
want
for you, man.
Story. How did you meet her? What's going on? We want to know.
We want the details.
That's fantastic.
Oh my God, John!
Glocky, what have you been up to? You got any more kids on the way?
He's having triplets.
bought a plane or anything? A lot of people are asking, have we listened to the new Ren songs? Have you listened to the new Ren songs?
Haven't.
Have you heard Money Game 3?
No.
Kaz, have you heard Money Game 3 yet?
I have, but I didn't get to finish it because I was in the middle of doing something else. But I happily listened to it all the way through.
No, I've listened to it twice.
Okay.
But I didn't
And
listen
your
to it
thoughts?
until a week after, and I've got some controversial statements. I've got something controversial to say about Money Game 3.
Are you going to say them before we listen or after?
Do you want to hear my opinion before or after?
After, because then you can ask me my opinion and
We'll
I
see
can
if it's the
you can
same.
tell me yours.
Right. Let's listen to Ren Money Game 3.
I am so excited for you, John. Honestly, I'm just going. Oh, listen, if you have twins, you can have a little boy and call it Ren, and a little girl and call it Chinchilla.
I thought you were going to go, if it was a boy, you can call it Dan, and if it was a girl, you can call it Kaz.
That's not such a bad shout rolls, is there? Come on.
I thought she was going to say name the boy Ren and the girl Gil. I thought that could have been quite
Yeah.
funny. Jill, even.
Or Dan and Danielle.
Dan and Danielle. You know, that's my kids. I've just got to download Money Game 3, so we've got to
Okay,
do some
no worries.
small talk for a little bit.
No worries. So Glocky's in the house. Glock, any news? What's going on? What's going on? We need to know.
The Glockmeister General.
And John, I need names. I need to know her name.
Oh,
I
finds
need
out
to know
Monday.
how long you've been with her. And, is she an old friend that's rekindled? Or what's
Is she
going on?
old? Is she old? Is she young? Is she thin? Is she fat? Funnily enough, her and I both been having the same dreams about a boy and a girl.
It's Dan and Kaz.
I hoping they're clean dreams and this is not some paedophile confession that's about to happen. Well, pleased for you, Johnny boy. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's download. Lonnie Bird's in the house.
Look, up in the sky.
And Donna.
It's a
All right, my
It's
love.
Lonnie Bird. How we doing, Lonnie Bird? Donna's. I haven't got a jingle for Donna.
No. Glocky says, nah, same shit and different day. Mate, we need to sort that out for you. You need some sparking news. What should we send his way?
Chlamydia.
Some I'm not sending you chlamydia, Glocky.
Glocky, do you want chlamydia?
Dan's just being silly.
Glocky's like, oh, not again.
I was thinking more Christmas cheer.
Christmas cheer.
Yeah, love a bit of Christmas cheer. I've got my tree up already.
Yeah, I know. Sounds putting hers up. I'm like, it's not even December yet.
I know.
It's not even meant to go up until December the 12th.
So we were coercion over this. I was like, I'm putting mine up. She was like, yep, I'll get mine down. I'm going to get it up. I'm going to get it. And I was like, I love you, Sam.
That's what she said. I'm going to get it up. I'm going to get it down.
Oh, thank you, babes. Look what brought me in.
Wow. Where's ours?
Let's celebrate together.
Celebrate together. Go! Oh. Right, so hang on a minute. I'm going to do this and open this bottle. One,
You do that while we
two
play
up.
the song.
Oh, no, you got to have it. She's going to make a
Hang
mess
on.
of it.
What
I'm
you
making a toast.
You're making a
She's
toast?
trying to open a champagne bottle. You
Oh,
gotta, we
God.
gotta be
Right, can you put it in
close up
front
on
of the camera so we can get at least the comedy gold of you breaking your nose?
It's going to puncture the ceiling or something, isn't it?
Poor Mike.
You know.
He
Oh,
must be
Kaz,
in
come on,
agony.
don't show us up, mate.
Oh,
Right.
that was an anticlimax, wasn't it?
guys, please don't forget you can go to your local AA centre in your local town. Just go to aa.com. You'll be
Please drink responsibly.
So my toast is to John on his twins.
Cheers,
to be,
Johnny boy.
obviously. Right. To us three and Sam. I know you're there, babes.
Which camera?
And all the fun and laughter that's gone and the fun and laughter to come.
Oh, cheers, Johnny boy. Congratulations,
Cheers,
mate.
John.
Right, now we're going to have Ren Money Game. And I've got some controversial opinions to stay after this.
Oh, are we going to do 1, 2, and 3 or just 3?
Just 3. We don't have much time before we got to talk about me. Ren, this is the last song, buddy.
Never the last song.
Boy can play guitar. John's baby mum is called Danielle. I love it, mate.
Where's this in there? They've known each other since they were 12.
That's cute.
The music keeps stopping my end.
That's because you're on Discord, so you won't get to hear it fully, but we can hear it and they can hear it just fine. So don't disturb the live. Jesus. Making it all about you again. Do you know what I mean?
I would like to listen to the song, please.
Tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in products stock, 20 double down deposits, 21 his income rockets, 22 he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23 a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24 he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25 and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26 a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27 dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28 inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31 a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32 moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33 filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34 turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. "35, he gets a call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
What do we think so far?
It's an unusual Ren. I mean, I can't hear all of it, but that last sort of like big section I heard, it's not his usual stuff.
Agreed. It's a different style, isn't it? Yeah,
It's a completely different style. The lyrics are fantastic. I love the storyline.
Yeah.
But there's a few times where I wanted it to go boom and it didn't do anything. And I'm like,
Hold your fire.
okay. Okay. He never disappoints.
He never does, mate. He never does.
He's just making me want it more and more. That's what he's doing.
Oh, that's what she said.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 4.
This bit is fucking amazing, by the way.
And he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Call the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game."
That's it. That's it. Right, Steve.
Very different.
Before I
isn't
get
it?
on to my controversial comments, how would you like to feed back to Ren about his song Money Game 3?
It was a fantastic story.
It is a
Good
fantastic
moral
story.
to the story.
It's a great moral to the story.
I like the use of like the violins and cellos and things, the classical side of it, the piano, very different to what he's done before.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a lot slower. It's a lot different. Big pauses, which I'm not sure if
Good
I
use of
like.
time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it or if it was a good use of time. I think I'd have to listen to it a few more times.
Kaz, what are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I couldn't hear all of it. A lot of it kicked in, but some of it kicked out at the same time. So what I did hear, the storyline, incredible. He's on the money with that on the money. See that one? See what I did there? See what I did there? Every time he's just there. He knows exactly the system. He knows how we all play it. He knows that what's the good part, what's the bad part. And he's got no problem in telling us, yeah? The use of silence, like Rowley said, incredible. He knows how to play every second of that because you are just waiting for the next bit to hit you. And I think it's brilliant. Like, again, I would have to listen through a few times because I didn't get it all. Because I couldn't hear it all. So, yeah. But
Nice.
I love Money Game. Is one of my favourites. Money Game 2 is one of my favourites. So 3 is just completely different to 1 and 2. Well, 1 is different to 2 as well. You get what I mean, don't you? They're just completely different. Same story, but with different messages.
When did you learn to count? Is that a new thing? She said 3, 2, 1 in order and everything.
Wow, I must write that down in a diary somewhere. I got it right.
On this day.
Right, I'm going to say something controversial.
Oh, God.
Right. God.
Now-
Go on then.
Get comfortable, everyone.
What I'm conscious of, right, is that we built up a great community, actually, before I left, before I swandered off to go and sort my shit out. I had a great community. And a couple of them, I'll be honest, they got a little bit annoyed that I just left. Right? So I just want to take a moment to the Ren fans who, you know, we help nurture and create a little home for. Right? So before I say what I'm about to say with foot to Ren, I just want to say thank you for everybody who was here for the last year, here for the last 2 years, here for the last 10 years, and to those that are here from the start. Just want to say thank you. Appreciate the community we built here. And may it continue. May it continue. This may well be the last live Dan Wheeler does, but it may not be the last live that I do.
More on that
Like I
later.
said, draw a line in the sand.
Draw a line in the sand. So now that I'm in a different place in a new chapter, I feel quite safe being able to say controversial things without the fear of backlash. Because I still don't give a fuck. So,
No joking.
so as you know, we were introduced to Ren back in March time, wasn't it? February, March?
Yeah.
Can't remember quite now.
It was about February we found him. About March we started praise.
And we went on a Ren journey, didn't we? We went through every song.
We went on a renaissance.
We went on a Ren journey and we absorbed the music. We were thankful for the music. He's a genius. We can't
music.
I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a musical genius. We all know this.
Could
However,
I'm frightened now.
However, I saw Money Game 3 about a week after. I think it was in and out of Costa Rica. I can't remember now, but I didn't see it until a week after. And I watched it for the first time. I was by myself, turned it up loud, and I watched it all the way to the end. And I'll be honest, I think it could be the best song he's ever made.
Oh,
I don't want to kick the boat. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to kick the bucket. I think it could be the best song he's ever made.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is the production, the orchestra, the lyrics are just ridiculous.
He's incredible.
Ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. The videography, the editing. I mean,
I can stop sweating. I thought you were going to say something awful then.
I did build it up intentionally.
one of the worst songs I've ever.
I know how to play this game. I know how to keep him listening. Sorry, guys, I'm only joking. I can't say a bad word about him. The music's too good. Music's too good. It's the Money Game 3. I thought was amazing. I thought it was up there with High Ren in terms of overall production.
Wow, that's the best for me as well.
And High Ren was amazing, original, unique. No one has illustrated yin yang like that before since Eminem, really. And but when I saw Money Game 3, I took a step back and I thought, fuck me, the production's better than Ren. The storyline is as good, if not as good, better than Jenny and Screech. Just the whole mix between his use of silence is as good as his music. Does that make sense? He uses silence so well.
He's a genius.
A genius. Was that controversial enough? Do you reckon I've annoyed anyone with that?
Now I can start sweating. I tell you what, I'd really, really like to hear if I could pick the next one. Are we having one more?
Yeah, go on.
Can we do chalk outlines?
Oh! Go on then.
As it's you.
Go on then. We'll play my favourite song. Go on then.
It's one of mine too.
I've just got to find it now.
Gotta find it. Let's go through some of these comments while you are doing that, shall we? Rowley, you're not very good at this, are you? You think he'd only just started. You haven't looked at any comments.
I can't see the comments.
Oh, here we go. You can't because I'm using this phone.
It's a laptop. That's all I got to say.
He's stolen my phone.
Right,
but where's
and
the
his
laptop?
comments are on the other side of the screen, and he keeps telling me off for leaning over.
Guys, we're gonna take it back. We're gonna take it back to the original. This was, I think, one of the our first videos that popped off, Kaz. The reaction did quite well, I think, on this one.
The chalk outlines, yes.
I think it did quite
actually made us both cry. You were pretty emotional over this.
You were crying more than I was, so let's just set the
crying, bitch.
Sing it, Chinchilla. Sing it, Ren. Sing along if you know the words at home.
I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning. So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. Then walk around in the floating chalk outline. So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, balanced on my toes so I can breathe.
All together now.
But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my mind, oh my mind, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my mind, oh my mind, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Here she comes.
Sertraline in a sip of serotonin.
'cause there's a pill for everything. Take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. The feeling goes and you draw a joke outlines. So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe.
All together now.
But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, erase ourselves. It's such a perfect day. Take it just in case. Take it just in case. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change. All things change.
Have a great day, Johnny boy.
It's such a perfect day. It's a beautiful shame. It's a beautiful shame. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change. But little by little, bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my,
How we doing, Donna?
erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
One of the most beautiful songs ever written, if not the most beautiful song ever written. It's up there with How to Be Me, I'll be honest.
That's my other favourite is How to Be Me. I absolutely adore those two. You know when you're having like a day where you just need a bit of like reassurance that you got it?
I thought she said she was going to have a wank. You know the day when you just need to masturbate. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that's every day, mate.
It's a great song. It's a great song. Now, is it okay for me to steal the show?
No, it is, but we've got to do one thing first.
Oh, what have we got to do first?
You've got to reveal yourself.
Ooh. What, the new me?
Yeah, well, you're ready. I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Just have to take my headphones off.
All right, you take your headphones off and I'll take my headphones off.
Okay. So now you're going to reveal the new you, okay?
I'm going to reveal the new me.
All right.
Okay, you
We're
go
doing
first.
this together.
You go first.
I'm going first.
You go first.
No, you know.
Yeah. You should have taken the headphones off. Dun, 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 dun.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's cars! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's cars! Right, so, oh, hold on, wait there. I can hear something.
Can you hear something? I can hear. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's...
This was less
Come on.
cheesy. This was less cringe when we thought about it. I'll be honest.
It was. It's super.
Hey.
No, that's not padding. That's just my muscles.
Is that over there in the distance? It's Dan.
Oh, it feels good to be free again.
I was getting far too hot with our other top on. My guns look like yours.
Some bitch on Instagram said I was a fat fucker in Costa Rica. Really?
Really?
I thought I looked pretty
There's
good.
no there. I think you look amazing. Do you know what? There's an amount of jealous people out there. It's ridiculous.
Thankfully, Steve, they can't see below the waist.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
If they could see below the waist, they go, that little man's a big chunky
He's got his little corset on tonight.
It's my little man.
Sam and I having a kid as well. It's just that I'm carrying it.
Dan's also having twins.
Oh God. Right. Well, the whole reason for the live. Let me steal the mic for a second, guys.
Oh, it's all about you.
Myself, okay.
It's all about
It's
me.
all about you.
It's all about me. So, for those the keen eyes will notice I've changed my name. I've gone from Daniel Wheeler to Daniel Nichols, and I've gone back to Daniel Nichols. So the reason I've gone back to Daniel Nichols is, there's lots of reasons why. But the first one was it was time. It was time to go back to the name I was born with, and it was time to say goodbye to the character that I had evidently created. So for those that don't know, I had a bit of an issue growing up. Blah blah blah. I don't want to go into all that shit. We've already covered that shit. And my mum remarried a guy with the surname Wheeler, and fast forward 30 years of interesting events and times, I've come to realise I don't want to be a Wheeler. I'm not a Wheeler. I was born in Nichols, and since me and my biological father reconnected back in February, my life has been infinitely better. And that was the catalyst for sure for finally getting sober. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to tell my story over the last 6 months, because it's been a bit of a wild ride, hasn't it?
It has.
It's been a bit of a wild ride, and lots has happened, lots has changed, and I'm bored of talking about it already. Since it's
Bored of talking about you
already, I'm just bored.
That's
my life is now behind the camera, and I've been in front of the camera for years. You know, we've done some TV, we've done some films, we've done some documentaries, we've done some podcasts, we've done some interviews, we've done some press, we've done some. What else is there to do? I think I've done it all. And ultimately, along that journey, 37 years of that journey, and wanting to become famous, wanting to become rich and famous, and wanting to have that spotlight for so many years, ultimately accumulated to a very difficult life. You know, you chase something like that for 30 years, and it changes you. It does. There's no denying it. And that led me down a path of addiction. That led me down a path of depression and anxiety, and then some shit happened 6 months ago that completely transformed my life, completely changed everything. You two beautiful people have been here every step of the way.
Yeah.
So and also a lot of you online. Sorry, guys.
Can't get rid of us that easy. He's tried many times. He's tried to come back like a dirty penny.
Oh, there we go. I'm just trying to get the right angle. That feels more comfortable. So I don't really know where to start, but I suppose the best place for me to start is when I met Danny.
I would say, yeah, that was the start.
I think up until then, it was all still a little bit chaotic, but we're talking 5-6 months ago now. I was on TikTok, and this is the time in which I'm still relapsing quite regularly, every 2 weeks or so, but desperately trying to sort my shit out. You know, trying to do everything I possibly could to sort my shit out, failing on some things, succeeding on others. The ice bath was a major turning point. That helped get off the painkillers, for sure. And I haven't touched painkillers since doing ice baths. That might be a lie. I think I might have relapsed once or twice in those 18 months. But ultimately, the ice bath was a major healing point there. And but I still had the coke to get rid of. The coke was a difficult one. And during this time, Sam and I started to track my relapses. And the beautiful woman that she is was starting to take a note of it, because I was too useless to be able to write down a particular feeling on a particular day. So we started tracking my relapses. This must have been January, February time. And after a couple of months, we overlaid some information on top of the dates in which I was relapsing. And I was relapsing to the day, almost to the day. There were a couple of exceptions where it was a day off. And there was one occasion where it's 2 days off, but the rest of them, and we're talking maybe we tracked maybe 20 or 30 of them, the rest of them falled perfectly in line with the new moon and the full moon.
Mm-hmm. You're batshit crazy round the moon, mate.
I'm a lunatic. I'm a full-on lunatic, and I had no idea. Huh?
Did you hear what you said? You're a lunatic.
A lunatic. Yeah, no, I said it intentionally.
Oh, okay.
I said it intentionally. Yeah, that's where the phrase comes from. Is people? There are some people who are energetically charged by the moon, and what I found out back in kind of March, April, May time was a full moon would send me manic, very energetic, insomnia. Couldn't really sleep around the full moon. And those two combinations of feeling run down from not sleeping because of the insomnia and the energy, the charged energy from my throat needs to be cleared. It's very frustrating. I think I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. You're among friends. We're all friends.
No, I don't know what it is. I think it's just constantly needs clearing. It's very bizarre. But the full moon was semi-energetically charged. And then the new moon would send me down. The new moon I would feel empty. I'd feel lost. I'd feel lonely. I'd feel down. And ultimately, I would liken it to the bipolar state of mania and depression. And I always remember a very vivid conversation with one of my psychologists at the time. And the thing that confused her the most with my bipolar diagnosis was the frequency of the change in emotions. Most people with bipolar go through their elongated waves. They're 6 months, a year, 18 months, these waves of mania and depression. Everyone's different, but typically it's a prolonged thing. It's not a 2-week cycle. And so that was always a discussion with my doctors and psychiatrists, was there was this big swing every so often. And it turned out it was every 2 weeks, every 14 days. I would have this big significant shift in feelings and emotions. And I mean, just going back through the lives, you can see if I go back to a live on the full moon, it's a different live compared to a live on a new moon. Live on the new moon, I'm pretty somber, I'm pretty low, I'm pretty flat, and I would have to use the music and the shit to bring me up. And then on a full moon, I was ready to go, like straight out of the gate. So that has been a big self-discovery, a big learning point for myself, is realizing the connection between the moon and how much it changes me. And I can now use it positively. So when I know it's a full moon, the feelings I would get before that would cause me to relapse would be this energetic, this noise that I'd always refer to it as. I used to describe it as standing in a coliseum and everyone trying to talk to me. So you couldn't hear anything, but you could hear the noise, and that's kind of what my head felt like. And across the new moon, the full moon, it would get louder and louder and more chaotic, and I would take drugs to get rid of it. So cocaine in particular would just make it all disappear, just silence, bliss, peace amongst that noise. And then on a new moon, I'd feel so low, I'd feel down, and I'd feel wiped out that I would relapse to bring my energy up, if that makes sense. So it didn't matter the occasion I was relapsing. One to make the noise go away, and the other one to make myself feel better. And anyway, around this time of discovering that connection, I was on TikTok and I met a guy called Danny Gola. Now, Danny Gola is, I've described him as a DMT scientist. I'm not too sure what he describes himself as, but he's possibly the most intelligent man I've ever met. And what he doesn't know about dimethyltryptamine is just not worth knowing. And I got talking to him because he made a discovery to do with DMT and a laser. And that discovery was that if you looked through this particular laser shining on an object, whilst in the DMT space, you can see the code of reality. You can see that object has a code in it, very similar to the Matrix. And his discovery was proof that we live in a simulation. So we were talking on YouTube. We did a couple of interviews on YouTube. You can go and check them out. They're on the page still. And we got chatting, we became friends, and we had arranged to do this particular podcast. I'm terrible with dates, but we arranged to do this particular podcast, let's say 4 months ago. I can't remember now. And the night before, I'd had a big relapse. And this particular relapse was so big I was trying to hurt myself because I was in a bad place, this noise and blah, 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 not making sense of it, you know, a couple of things not working out right in life, and just took a relapse, so to speak. And I did so much coke that night that my chest here was not cramping up, but there was a very tight sensation in my chest and this sharp pain in my chest. And then I felt this agonizing ache coming down my left arm. And I was like, oh, fuck. This is it. This is it. I'm gonna die. And it was really scary. I was really scared. I was petrified, in fact. And I was so petrified I left the rest of the coke there. I didn't do any more, which for a cocaine addict is impossible. Like, if you're a cokehead and there's coke left, it's going to get done. If you got work in the morning, it doesn't matter. It's going to get done. So the fact that I stopped it was I was really scared. And the next day, as with all my relapses, I would have this clarity. I could think so much clearer than I could ever think before. And I messaged Danny and I said, mate, look, I can't do the podcast today. I'm not feeling great. Fobbed him off with some sort of, I've got diarrhea and all these excuses that I can reel off as long as my arm. Oh, the dog needs to go to the vet. Oh, I'm not feeling too well. Oh, I've got diarrhea again, food poisoning. Oh, the hay fever was terrible. Like this list of excuses just to hide the fact that I was struggling. And at the time, Danny said, look, don't worry about it, but I think you should speak to my mate Mickey. And I was like, who's Mickey? And he says, he's my spiritual guide, if you like. He's into the spiritual world and he helps people. And I was like, okay, great. I'll try anything now, because I was at the point where I was just at a very low point. And that morning, just before I called Danny, I remember I went for a walk down Bateman's Walk, as you two know. And there's a field down there. There's a little kind of small field with a bus stop hut type thing in it. And there's this big stone in the middle of the field. And I remember sitting on that, being in a very depressed state, you know, having a bit of a cry. And I remember I fell down to my knees and I screamed up to the sky and I said, for fuck's sake, give me a male guide. I need a male guide. And my dad wasn't in my life at this point, my real dad. And I was like, give me a male guide. I need a male guide. Please, please, please give me a male guide. Screaming just at the top of my lungs and just in a very, very raw state. And anyway, I got up off my feet, walked back home, and on the way home, and within the hour, my dad had messaged me after 30 years. Just messaged me that exact, within an hour of me screaming for a male guide. Bloop. My dad pops in. So we reconnected, and anyway, we reconnected over the following weeks, but later that day I spoke to Danny and he was like, speak to Mickey. I was like, great. So caught up with Mickey, lovely guy, possibly, and again, I like to use extreme terminology just to try and illustrate my emotion and feelings towards it, but hands down the nicest man I've ever met. I've never met anybody who doesn't have as much unconditional love as he does. Incredible human. Loving, compassionate, kind, all the things Danny is as well. But it's incredibly, what stands out with Danny is his mind, his intellect, and what stands out with Mickey is his heart. And so I told the sob story to Mickey, and he was like, okay, well, let me see if I can offer you some help. And we did a meditation. He taught me about some chakra stuff, which I had no idea about. And he took me on a bit of a journey, spiritually wise. And at this point, I think we'd been discovering Ren stuff and we'd been talking about spiritual connections and whatnot, but nothing really concrete. And then after this particular meditation with Mickey, he didn't do anything in particular. I've had meditations before, and he said a little prayer for me, and we closed our eyes and we put hands together and did all that jazz, listened to some Hertz music, and he said a prayer, and that was the end of the meditation. Thought nothing about it. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, and the noise that I'd had turned into one voice, a clear guiding voice. And it was freaking me the fuck out. For about 2 weeks after that, the next 2 weeks, and again, it was all documented on the lives. So you can go back and watch it if you really want to. But for 4 hours a day while this was going on, the synchronicities, the coincidences, the weird, freaky shit that had started to unfold, the synchronicity after synchronicity, the clear guiding voice. I was starting to see visions. I was starting to see things when I closed my eyes. And I was then starting to see things in people when I was talking to them. I could see colour around their person, known as an aura. I could hear things that they were telling me without them speaking. It was all starting to get so fucking weird. And so I spoke to 2 psychiatrists, and I was like, some funky stuff's happening. My mum is schizophrenic, so I feel like I might be going schizophrenic. Can you help me? And they said, yeah, we can help you. And I told them what would happen. One of them said, I need to go and speak to a spiritual guru. Those were her words. I was like, okay, great. And the other one said that my description of it was not schizophrenic. And if she was wrong and it was schizophrenia, it would be the most controlled schizophrenic break she'd ever experienced, because usually people get diagnosed with it after they go to hospital. And I was like, that's an interesting point. So that gave me some reassurance I wasn't going crazy. But nevertheless, I was hearing a voice. I was seeing some funky shit. And it was intense. It was really, really intense. I felt like I could then talk to animals, and that's when I met the cows and have a chat with them every day. And I now can talk to trees, and it's all very fucking spooky and weird. But this started happening about 4 or 5 months ago, and then my relationship with Mickey progressed, because to him, this had already happened. It's known as a Kundalini awakening, or a spiritual awakening, or becoming connected, or whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm not a fan of labels. I don't really know which one to use to describe it. So I usually say 3 or 4 different things to try and describe the thing. But it's Kundalini, I think, is the well-known term that a lot of people, particularly in India, I need to blow my nose, particularly in India and that side of the world, use. But it's from my understanding, it's something that happens to everybody at some point. It's not something that's unique to anybody. It's not something that is special. Well, it is special, but it's not. It's something that happens to everybody, and it just happens at different phases, at different times, depending on different things. And trauma is the big one. Trauma, it's very coincident. It's very common for someone who has breakdowns or near-death experiences, or big terrible events that happen into their life where they have to go inside themselves to protect themselves. That's typically when things start to become weird and that awakening process happens. So Mickey and I became very close. He started helping me a lot to try and 1, control it, 2, make sense of it, 3, to use it to my advantage, 4, to use it to other people's advantages. And that's been one hell of a journey. And ultimately that then led to Danny and Mickey inviting me to go to Costa Rica on a retreat. So by this point, I'm not sober. By this point, the relapses now were going to 1 a month rather than 1 every 2 weeks.
Can I just interrupt a second?
Yes.
You actually told yourself you were going to Costa Rica before he asked you.
We'll get to that.
F that bit out.
So you're right. That is right. Because during the first meditation, there's so much I'm going to miss. But during that meditation, that first one with Mickey, he asked me a very specific question that I got very emotional about. And he said, what is the one thing that's holding you back? And before he finished the sentence, I said, my addiction. I need to get rid of my addiction. It's the worst thing about my life. I can't. And I remember saying, I can't beat it. It's stronger than me. It's bigger than me. I can't do it. I wish I could, but I can't. I just can't do it. And he said, he does this beautiful thing where he just smiles. He goes, okay, it's done. And I was like, what? And he goes, it's done. And I was like, okay, mate, I'll see you later. So we ended the live. Didn't think any more of it. And then the next day I wake up with this super clear, super positive, super guiding voice, which at the time was kind of interjecting my reality all the time. It was like a tap I couldn't turn off, and it was very, very, very intense. And like I said, it was so intense I thought I was going insane. And my understanding of it now is that we have different chakras, different energy zones. You can have a Google if you're not familiar with that term, but there are different parts of energy in the body. And when they all open up, you become fully connected. It's this awakening, but it's the process of it all coming in alignment and turning on, so to speak, or becoming connected back to the source. That's a label. I haven't decided what label I want to use for that yet. Some people call it God. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it the divine. Some people call it Pachamama. Some people call it lots of different things. But ultimately, the source, I suppose that's a label. It's less emotional, but the source, your higher self, your higher being, your spiritual self, though that label, whatever that is connecting to that. A Christian would call it God, asking God for help. A modern day spiritual would say it's your higher self. I use that term quite a bit. The old school spiritual community would call it the divine energy. There's other ways to describe it, but for me, I prefer source or higher self. And it's a guide. It's a thing. It's somebody. It's something. It's become very familiar with it now. But it was very intrusive to begin with. Positive, guiding, helpful, but intrusive. It would turn up at the weirdest points. I'd be having sex, and she's trying to get me blocked. She's trying to get me blacked, but blocked as well. Kaz, what are you doing? Are you listening? I'm pouring my soul out here, quite literally. She just wants the attention, doesn't she?
She's just watching YouTube, isn't she?
She's just watching the attention.
She's watching Whitney on YouTube rather than listening.
Apologies, I literally just unplugged this, right? And it set off Whitney. I haven't been listening to Whitney. I don't even know how that happened.
What song was it?
There's a bridge I have to follow.
Is Whitney in the room? Was that Whitney?
It sounded like it.
Because I'm taking it step by step. That one.
That was good, mate. Step by step. Yeah, I can't do it.
What was that one anyway? Which what are you going up? What are you doing?
What? I can still hear something in the background. Oh, no,
I've got nothing playing in the background.
That's all right. What did you ask?
I said it's pretty much how you're going step by step all the way up.
Very coincidental.
And I don't even know where she came from. I haven't listened to her for ages.
Where was I? Do you remember? I don't remember.
You were saying, hang on.
Steve, do you remember?
About spiritual guide, what you call it. Yeah,
to me?
About Mickey.
Mickey, there we go. Anyway, so the months that would follow would be intense, and I was trying to get to terms with what was going on. So that took me a while. And during that time, I was making the Ren movie, essentially. That took me about a month to make, and we'd had various talks about that and analysing his music. And as everyone in the chat knows, the song Genesis stood out more than anything. And that was a song for me, that was very eye-opening, shall we say. I think the fact that I played it so often and we were going back and back and back and listening to it and actually trying to analyse what those lyrics meant, that just set off a spark of a thought process, a door that I didn't close afterwards. It was a door. It was like a one-way road. It was a... Oh, you can see the depths of lyrics. I wonder if you can see the depths of anything else.
Oh, that's what she said.
And so things started to unfold at that point. So after I did the movie and I set that off, that was September the 10th, September 11th. And around that time, I'd made the decision to when the movie goes out that I was going to take a step back anyway. But I didn't realise why I was going to take a step back. I just knew I needed a break because so much was going on and I knew nobody would understand. And I've spent a few weeks toying whether or not I'm going to say anything about this because I'm just like, what benefit is there to open myself up to more ridicule? And I was like, well, what is the benefit here? And my path has led me down a road where I now feel compelled and passionately enough that I want to go and help people who have had the same struggles I've had, particularly with addiction. So my brothers and sisters who are still struggling, I don't have the answer. I don't have a cure. I don't have any of that. But I do. I know a door that works, and I don't know if it works for everybody. I don't know if it's for everybody. But I know that there's a door that I went through that helped me so significantly that it changed my life. It saved my life. It improved my life. It did all the things, all the awesome positive things that you would hope becoming sober does for you. You know, clarity, calm, peace, improved awareness, increased awareness. The clarity is the big one. Seeing things clearly, understanding things clearly, particularly people and their reactions, and then also understanding and discovering what I actually want to do. So for 12 years I wanted to be a coach. I don't know, have I mentioned that?
I don't think.
Do you guys know? Kaz, do you know?
You were a life coach at all, Dan. Do you want to tell us about it?
I was a life coach for 12 years,
Wow.
nutrition coach. I don't know if
Wow.
did you guys know? So I wanted to. I did that for 12 years and then burnt myself out. Was like, I need a break. And then we did comedy, Kaz. We did podcasting. We did 2 years. We did that for.
Yeah, years.
But 2 years, and I flew solo for 6 months, and that break, that detachment from giving all my energy away to other people, particularly people that didn't use it correctly and then try to throw it back at me. I needed a break from that because I was trying to help the wrong people. That's what I now know. I can only help people that want to listen.
You were burned out at that point.
I was very burnt out. I needed a break.
And if you remember, like when you used to do the life coaching, remember me saying to you, you're the type of person who takes a pebble from everybody, and what it does is weighs you down. So you've got to let go of those pebbles because you can't keep carrying everyone else's shit around with you.
Indeed, and the problem I was having is because I was carrying so much of my own shit plus everyone else's pebbles. I was just finding it very difficult.
You were drowning, mate. Drowning.
So I took some time off, released those pebbles, so to speak, and topped up my own jar, so to speak, and ultimately that break helped me recharge. I then had this awakening, whatever you want to call it, this moment in my life where everything just seemed to make sense, and I think I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining it or giving it the magnitude of the impact that it had on my life, but I'll try and put it into context. The day after it happened, I remember spending 3 days in a field with the cows. Went home for dinner and sleep and stuff, but from waking up to going back when the sun went down, I was with the cows, and I was just, for 3 days I would go up and see them. I'd go and sit in the middle of the field. They'd all come and sit around me. We'd all have little naps together, and I'd bring them a couple of apples and whatnot. Became friends with the mama of the herd, who I call Mama affectionately, and there's Chestnut, there's Lucy, there's Max, I've named them all. Well, they've told me their names, and there's Bert the Bully, and he's pretty magnificent. Got lots to tell you about him someday, but I needed 3 days by myself because I had no idea. I thought I was having a psychotic break. I thought I was having a breakdown. I thought I'd taken too many drugs. Thought the DMT had finally got me, and it had, but in a much better way. So I needed some time to kind of make sense of this because I'm very self-aware. I had been before, very self-aware, and in spite of my charged sensitivity to emotions, I was still aware of everything that was going around me, even when I was emotionally charged. So sitting in a field with some cows was the right thing to do, because I'm not sure how I would have responded to people talking to me and asking me questions during that time, because lots was going on. So anyway, I've digressed. So let's go back to Mickey. So about a month, my timelines are so off, but shortly after I put the film out about Ren, Danny drops me a message and said, what do you think about this, mate? And he sends me a link to this retreat in Costa Rica that he's hosting. Him and Mickey are hosting. I was like, oh, mate, that looks fantastic. And he goes, have a look around to see if it's your type kind of thing. I was like, okay. So I looked around the website. I was like, this looks fucking fantastic. Then looked at the price.
For a reason.
And it looks amazing for a very specific reason. It's $5,000 plus your flight out there. And after I looked at it, I called Danny back. I was like, mate, this looks fucking phenomenal. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And I was like, do you want me to help you promote it? Because if it helped me so much, I was like, mate, I'm more than happy to help you promote it if you want. And he was like, no, mate, I think you've misunderstood. We'd like you to come. And I was like, mate, I can't afford $5,000. Like at the time, I was literally doing lives. People were donating £20, £30 a day, and that's what we were living on. And quite literally, I was like, mate, I can't afford $5,000. And he was like, I don't think you understand what I'm asking. Do you want to come on the retreat? And I was like, of course I want to come on the retreat. And he goes, cool. Well, the date is the 28th of September. Just sort your flight out and we'll see you there. And I was like, are you kidding me? You're going to gift me a $5,000 retreat? This can't be right. And specifically targeted towards people that needed to heal, and recommended for addicts and people with depression, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. Spiritual healing, etc., etc. And so I was like, this is amazing. What an opportunity. This is exactly what I need. You know, I'm still struggling. You know, and I need this retreat. This would be amazing. So then I looked at the flights, and the flights were £1,000. I was like, I don't have £1,000. So I called Danny back. I was like, mate, thank you so much for the opportunity. I can't afford it. It's going to be £900 to get a flight. I just can't afford it. Plus, you know, got to get to the airport and all that jazz. And I said, look, thank you so much, but you know, I'm going to have to turn it down. He goes, I think you misunderstood the point. Do you want to come to the retreat? And I was like, of course I do, but I can't afford the flight. And he goes, I'll pay for your flight. I was like, what? Who the fuck are you, and why are you doing this? Like, this makes no sense. You're giving me £6,000 worth of value. And I know I did some podcasts for him, and we, you know, helped, you know, give some exposure and stuff, but not to this value. So I was very kind of taken aback by it. I got a bit emotional because it's rare that someone's shown me that much love and affection from a materialistic perspective. But this wasn't just a material object to buy. This was an experience. This was what I didn't know would be an experience that changed my life. So they sorted the flights out, they sorted the retreat out, and before you know it, towards the end of the month, I think it was September the 26th or the 28th or something, I'm on a plane to Costa Rica. And I won't bore you with the details of the horrendous airports in America, but Houston, Texas, Houston Airport, worst airport I've ever been to. Newark Airport, worst airport I've ever been to. So now I've got to the point, I've gone to Costa Rica twice. Go on.
You need to tell them the name of the airport that you landed in. Wasn't it?
Oh, Liberia. Yeah. Well, this is
Daniel.
Was this Daniel?
Yeah. So this is just, I could talk for a day about all the synchronicities that had happened, but when Danny was telling me where to go, it was in Costa Rica, it was in Nasara, and I had to fly to the airport, Liberia. And if you Google Costa Rica Airport, Liberia, you'll see that it actually translates to Daniel something, the airport of Daniel or something like that. It was one of a million weird coincidences I could bore you with, but yeah, that was one of them. And then the other one that my flight number was 36. No, 26. Oh, I can't remember now. It was a number, and it was the same number that was in my phone, and it was the same number that Danny's connected to, and it was the same number that Sam's birthday's on. It was all very bizarre. So I get on a flight to Costa Rica. I go to Costa Rica, and I meet up with Danny and Mickey, and there are 16 other people that are on there, and it's hosted at Casas Kismet, which is owned by Terry Bullman. And so I got really friendly with Terry, got friendly with Jeremy Jackson, who did the breath work, obviously connected with Danny and Mickey on a deeper level because we'd never met in public, in person. And over the week we did yoga, meditation, breath work to invoke a DMT release internally, spiritual breath work. We did jungle hiking. We did obviously it's got a private pool on site, air conditioned room and all that jazz. What else did we do? And then we explored the molecule, the plant-based medicine, dimethyltryptamine, DMT. and and that is hands down. I'd done DMT 3 times before I went to Costa Rica, but what I didn't know is I tried 5-MeO DMT, which is a dimethyltryptamine attached to an oxygen molecule, essentially. And the DMT that they had at this retreat was NN-DMT, which is 2 nitrogen molecules with the dimethyltryptamine. And I was relatively naive to all this. You know, I was learning. I'd been researching it for the last 10 years, but no, longer than that. Since I was 21, I was looking into DMT because of Joe Rogan. So what's that, 17 years of researching something, and it was 15 years before I tried it. Did it 3 times, didn't try it for 3 years, 3 years. And then in Costa Rica, I really experimented with it, and they had a vape pen and introduced us to it, guided us through it, took us through it on a medical level, on an emotional level, on a physical level, on a spiritual level. I mean, we spent 3 days talking about it before we experimented with it. You know, it was a full crash course on what is DMT, where does it come from, you know, how does it affect the body, blah, 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 and what the spiritual connection is with DMT. So that was life-altering, life-changing, you know, met the divine, spoke to God, you know, spoke to entities, my guides, angels, and whichever label you want to use to represent that energy. I've spent some time with them and spoke to them and interacted with them and gone to different realities and different universes. And as crazy as a psychedelic it sounds, having now discovered some things with the DMT, it's not an individual experience. You can actually go to different locations with the same people. If 2 people are holding hands with DMT, you can set an intention and meditate and end up in the same room. It's crazy. So I'm learning all this stuff to do with psychedelics and plant-based medicine and whatnot. And then the retreat was over. But during the retreat, I spoke to Terry. I got speaking to Terry, and Terry was showing me around the place in this incredible villa. Incredible 5-star, proper luxurious private villa, which had 3 villas with a communal pool, a private on-site chef, and you name it, you know, masseuses and anything you can think of. This place was premium, proper premium. And got talking to Terry. Terry was telling me his story and his vision. And one of the things that he was concerned with was COVID, because he bought the place a year before COVID happened, and obviously COVID happened and fucked him. So he wanted to build his business to be COVID proof. And I remember him saying to me that he was struggling to find somebody who could help him build an online subscription service where coaches' content could be hosted to help people along their spiritual goals, so they could receive the information from the retreat without going to the retreat. And as he's saying this, he was listing out all the things that I'd already done for the last 13 years as a coach, building online systems, communities, subscription services, content, blah, blah, blah. So he's telling me all of this, and then he goes, so anyway, mate, what do you do? And I went, I just spent the last 13 years building online subscription services for people to host their content. So we start laughing. He said, tell me everything. So I told him everything, and I said, you tell me everything. And he told me everything, and he was like, oh, right, so we're best friends. So that then started a conversation where ultimately he hired me to become his head of online sales and marketing, to produce marketing collateral for the retreat and for his new retreat that he'd launched 2 weeks ago, called The Balanced Man, which is within the Casas Kismet umbrella. But The Balanced Man is an all men's retreat to help men find their masculinity. You know, in a world of femininity these days, it's, you know, a lot of us men aren't really familiar with what masculinity is, let alone where it is within ourselves, you know. And, you know, outside of ego and pride, my masculinity was pretty low compared to my feminine energy. I'd spent 12, 13 years with women. Right, and my dad left. Well, my mum took us away from my dad when I was very young, and my stepdad didn't fill the void. You know, he was working 12 hours a day, so I didn't really ever connect to him properly. So my masculine teachings were off; they weren't ideal. So anyway, I spent a week with Terry at his retreat with 13 other guys. I filmed the whole thing, been editing and working on it behind the scenes. But my life now is unconceivably less stressful than it used to be. Like I wake up now when I want to wake up. I eat when I want to eat. I exercise when I want to exercise. I go on social media after 12 when I want to. You know, it's like I'm spending so much more time with Sam and the kids and with you guys, and we've spent longer on the phones than we've ever had, and you know, just connecting to people more like you fucking should, you know, rather than the noise getting in the way. You know,
means something now. It's all meaningful rather than just a quick WhatsApp, whatever, you know.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Just human connection, you know. And that's what I was always good at with my job as a coach. But I did online coaching, so I'd make some good connections, but it will always be through video. But the clients that I had that I met in person, those are friends that I have today, you know.
Do you mind me saying about Sparkle?
Go on.
Yeah, Dan. I don't know if not, some of you will know this, some of you won't. He was an online coach.
Was I? I don't know.
Okay, he did it for many, many years, but he has this very particular skill set. Okay, which is that he can pinpoint exactly what you need, and he does it so precisely, and then he makes this sparkle just comes from him. It just radiates. And then he gets the best out of you, what you should be giving. And it's just incredible, guys. And he's been able to do that since the moment, well, probably since the moment you were born, to be honest. But I've known it since I've known you for the past, you know, God knows, millennia, whatever it feels like, doesn't it? But yeah, but you've got this like special gift that is not something that many people have. So you should harness that and stop it.
Thanks.
I was second that.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're going to make me blush.
I knew you would.
Go on, do you want to say something? Do you want to say something else about me? So, thank you, mate. I appreciate the love. Very kind of you. But I know what you mean now. I didn't before. I'd always get embarrassed about it and try and tell you to shut up.
Don't say that. And I'd be like, there is this energy and sparkle that comes off you when you harness it in. And I'm like, it's magical.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. And how I would describe my coaching in the past was I was able to talk to somebody, and within 30 seconds, 60 seconds, I knew exactly what their problem was. I'd then spend the next hour listening to them for them just to repeat the problem that I already knew that they had. And then it was just going part of the process, and then we'd work together and I'd fix their shit within a very short period of time. And you know, for the most part, for 95% of the occasion, it was incredibly positive and made a huge impact on many people's lives, which I'm very, very proud of. But it got to the point where I was becoming, I'll be honest, I was getting frustrated with the sitting down and letting them talk for an hour when I already knew what the problem was. And that process of eventually me getting frustrated that I was having to sit here for an hour, and I would try and interject and I'd go, yep, here's the problem. And they'd be like, no, okay, you carry on talking. And I was just getting annoyed with myself. And that's not what a coach does, ultimately. A coach is someone who listens and someone who, you know, helps lift someone up when they need it, you know, not trying to dominate the conversation so I can win the award to fixing them. You know,
I saw that from you, though.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. But I think that's where I got lost a little bit. It was the frustration of trying to help, but I couldn't be bothered to do the process because I knew what their problem was very, very quickly. So, and I got
awake to their own problems, are they? That's the
no, indeed, yeah. And the other thing I found is that as a coach, again, this is very common in the industry, is people will tell you that they're ready to change, and people will hire you and tell you they're ready to change, but ultimately not do anything about it. It's almost like paying you is what they're hoping will fix the problem. And that became difficult and challenging as well, because you know I'd receive information like, well, you know, where's the results? I'm like, well, have you done what we agreed? Like, no, I've been too busy. I'm like,
and then it's your fault they haven't achieved, and it's like that's how it works. And then I'm
the big bad person. Yeah, indeed. So anyway, where was I?
Sorry,
no, it wasn't you. It was me. Me, crazy.
We're talking about the retreat and how you.
So came back from the Balanced Man retreat, and obviously I work for them now, so I'm moving my social medias more towards coaching for addicts, addiction information. I've rebranded to the Spiritual Superman because I like the name. I like the name.
I think I'm with you on that one.
I like the name. I've always loved it, as you can see from the show last time, and so I'm just going to embrace it now. I am Superman. I don't give a fuck what you say, and I'm going to go and help people who need it ultimately. So I'm not going to charge. It's going to be completely for free. Just going to go and be of service. Just want to help people, you know. So this comes back to the full moon. This comes back to the moon energy. What I discovered kind of over the last 3-4 months, mostly the last 3 months, I'd say, is understanding how I can use the energy from the moon. So whereas before I wasn't doing anything with the energy. Before it was just sitting in me, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to get rid of it. I didn't know how to process it, and so I would take drugs. Whereas now I've learned that when the full moon is around, I have got the most energy, and if I go and spend some time with people helping them, I can sleep that night. It's very bizarre. Yeah, it's amazing, and it makes me feel incredible, and I'm helping people. But it's been this discovery of, oh fuck, if I just go and give some love when this energy presents itself, not only do I have more energy to give it to more people.
Oh, that's what she said.
Is that it's almost like an infinite tap on these 3 days of the full moon. It builds up, and I get more energy. You get 3 days of the full moon, and I can do it all day, every day. I could do, well, not every day, all day for those 3 days. I could stay up all night. I could spend as much time with people. I could try and fix problems. I'm better in the gym, and I realized about 3 months ago, if I put that energy to use, if I do something unconditional with it, if I just go and give that energy to somebody that needs it, then I could sleep that night and I could be calmer. So that's how I stopped relapsing on the full moon. But the new moon was still present. The new moon was still fucking me. It was taking me down. It was bringing me low. The light had disappeared, quite literally. You know, the moon is a reflector of the sun, and so during the day I would feel okay. But come night time, when the sun had gone down and the sun's energy was no longer present, and the moon wasn't reflecting any of the light back, it was complete darkness at night and complete darkness inside. You know, I had no light because I hadn't discovered my own internal light yet. And I mean that literally. I don't think people understand true light. Forgive me. I didn't understand what people meant when they said you had an internal light. I didn't understand what that meant at all. You know, up until 3 months ago, I didn't understand what that meant. And now I can confirm it's a literal thing. It's like when you close your eyes and you see all those shapes and colours coming, like if you put a blindfold on and you put pillows in front of your head and you wear one of those blackout masks, so there's no light at all, but yet you can still see stuff. You can still see, you know, orbs of lights or colours, or think, you know, the darkness is moving. You can see that there's a slight contrast in the darkness. Whatever it is that you see can't be coming from outside because you're wearing blackout goggles and a pillow and a t-shirt on top. It's like there's no way light can get in, but yet you can still see. So that means that there's an internal light. And so that's what they meant, and I had no fucking idea. I had absolutely no idea that's what they meant. There is literally a light inside of us. And so discovering that was weird, and that led me down we'd already worked with Wim Hof for months by this point, and I could see some funky stuff with the Wim Hof stuff, but it was all just shapes and colours. It was nothing tangible. It was nothing specific. Whereas over the last 6 months, these things have become not only specific and tangible, but when I now see symbols, and those symbols get sent, I have an energy that gets sent with those symbols, and that energy brings an emotion, and that emotion sends me a message as well as the symbol itself. And sometimes there's a guiding voice with it, and it all means something, and then you put it together like a puzzle, and then that message is either for me or the person that I'm with, and that process takes time, and you have to do what's called channeling, and I've only just started to learn how to do that, and that's been very helpful and rewarding. But anyway, so I come back from the retreat, and so I've done a week in Costa Rica in September, a week in Costa Rica in October. I've now got a job. I've now got security. I'm meeting these amazing people, these broken souls who've gone to this retreat to become healed, and then having these life-changing moments, and really, really profound and eye-opening time. And then I come back from Costa Rica, and obviously everyone who loves me, my closest, my nearest and dearest, you guys, Clevs, Kate, Sam, the kids, Terry, my other friend Terry and Jonathan, the people, my sister, the people that my immediate circle were like, oh, how was it? What was it? And I'm just like, yeah, it was good. How are you? Because there's so much to unpack. Oh no, by the way, I can talk to dead people and talk to trees. How are you? Like how do you tell someone that information in a half-hour conversation? You can't. There's an infinite number of questions I've now got to answer. Like, what do you mean you can speak to dead people? Oh God, I don't want to get into it. So, what?
It's a conversation we need to have. You never told me that one. I want to know more.
Oh, it's very bizarre. And then, when did I see The Medium? Because that was on the live. We talked about it on the live. That was a few months back now, wasn't it?
Ages ago, yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months ago. It's about the same time.
Costa Rica.
Sorry?
It was before you first went to Costa Rica.
Yeah, it was before. And I remember her giving me loads of information and me thinking to myself, there's no way she could know this shit. There's just no way. You know, I was still in my blinded phase. I couldn't hear, see or feel. I didn't know what was going on. But at the time, I just started to get some names pop in. I just started to get some information. So I'd started writing it all down and some images. So I was drawing those symbols, trying to make sense of it all. But it started very, very slow before it fucking hit me in the face. And I remember explaining it to the media. And I was like, what, mate, what is going on here? She goes, look, don't worry. You're just becoming connected. You're going to be fine. I was like, what does that even mean, becoming connected? What does that mean? I have no idea what you mean. And just asking so many questions and trying to get as many answers as possible, realising it's not something you can make sense of.
No.
Like, the way I would describe it is, let's say, for an example, you were blind all your life. You were born blind, right? So you have a elevated sense of touch and taste and hearing and whatnot. Wow. But ultimately, you can't see anything, right? So now imagine you get to 38 and someone turns your eyes on. Like, how do you describe to somebody seeing? Like, how do you describe? You can't describe sight to somebody. It's an almost impossible thing to describe. It describes music. Like, these are things that are so difficult to articulately describe with words because our language is so. Go on.
Because there's so much, you can't just describe.
Explain the colours to a blind person. You can't. It's impossible. Try and describe red to somebody who's never seen. You can't. It's impossible. So me trying to explain that I can tap into other dimensions, it's just like, well, what the fuck are you talking about, you crazy? Go back to hospital. Like, it's just so, I'm reluctant to talk about it. I'm reluctant to describe it. So I just want to kind of give a top level, you know, if anyone else can do this shit, I want to talk to you as well. all help the better.
I remember when Rosie was unwell, before she was unwell, you told me what was wrong with her. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah. And with Cooper in his collar as well.
And Cooper, oh, that was the most beautiful thing.
Go on, tell him.
We lost Rosie a couple of weeks back. She had bone cancer, didn't she, bless her? And Cooper, which was Rosie's son, was really struggling without his mum. And I said to you, will you speak to him for me? Because I really don't know what to do with him. I'm doing all the loving and the overfeeding and overwalking and overcutching and all the rest of it. And you just turned around and said to me, no, he just needs to know that he's top dog. And I went, what do you mean? You went, does he wear a collar in the house? And I said, no, he doesn't. But I did, funny enough, I did put it on him the other day because I felt like he needed to feel like top dog. But then I showered him and took it off him. And you went, but then you gave it to him and took him away. Give it back to him. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And ever since, he's taken to the puppies. He's been looking after them. He's just incredible. He's been a completely different dog. And even Archie goes, all right, Coop, top dog, and you mate, and you mate, and you mate. And he goes, oh.
Amazing. And again, at the time, like, this was a few months back now. So again at the time, I was like, information would pop in and I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it was. So I would just suggest something. And that's what happened with that in that case. you know, the sensation, the feeling I got was he's not top dog. He's, you know, Rosie was the queen,
Rosie.
right?
Oh, she was queen bee all day long, wasn't
queen,
she?
and he was prince, so to speak. So she's popped off to the other side now, and then he needed to be elevated, particularly with the other two that you've got now.
Yeah.
And so I just had this sense, this feeling that he needs to have the collar on. And then when you said you took it off on him, I was like, try and put it back on him. And it turned out to be the right one, which was quite good. Well, I'll give you another example of when it hasn't been quite so clear and I've made a tit of myself. I was talking to the cows owner, the farmer down the road who owns the cows, and went down to talk to him because I couldn't find them this one particular day. So I popped down to him, chatted to him and his wife, lovely people, really nice, proper farmers, you know. They talk to the cows, but they don't quite understand, you know, they're just nice people who are being loving to animals, you know, they're just great farmers. And when I was talking to the wife, she had two dogs. I've forgotten their names now, but these two collies, a boy and a girl. And I was stroking the girl dog. I can't remember the name. Let's call her Janet. I was stroking Janet. And I just had this, I started to cry. I just had this sense of sadness. I just had this sense of, I feel flat, I feel low, I feel blah, blah, blah. And then as I was closing my eyes stroking her, I saw this red tricycle, like the frame of a tricycle, you know, and I could see these wheels at the bottom of the tricycle. So I thought it was a tricycle. And I'm a stranger to these two people. They don't know who I am. So all of a sudden I've turned around and said, has she got a tricycle or something? So I'm now this crazy fucking stranger who can see shit. Right? and I said, has she got a red tricycle or something? And she said, no, I don't know. I don't think so. Why? And I said, oh, you know, had a vision and all this shit. And she looked at me like I was a fucking crazy. And then her husband looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And then I was like, oh, sorry, I must have been mistaken. You know. Anyway, it was lovely to see you. And I thought I'd make myself scarce after that because I didn't want to upset or offend anyone. I didn't want to think I was actually crazy. So she goes, well, actually, now you mention it, it's not a red tricycle, but she does wear a red harness. And it was I used to do running racing with her, you know, in Crufts. They go around the obstacle course.
The obstacle course,
and she used to wear this red harness. And I took her for a walk this morning and I'd just taken the harness off her. I said, oh, can I see the harness? And she showed it to me. And as she held it up in front of the dog, it was the red frame and the two wheels were the brown patches of the dog on it. So again, this was all so brand new. I didn't know it looked like a tricycle. It looked, you know, it was like just a flash. And it was like, oh, red tricycle with two wheels. And then when she put the collar on the dog, it was a red collar. And the patches of the collie were the wheels. I was like, oh, fuck, it's a collar. I said, what is it about the collar? And I said, I feel sad, mate. I just feel down, depressed, demotivated. Like, what is it about this collar? And she goes, oh, this is what I used to race her with. But she jumped over a fence one day and cut her chest open. So she had to have an operation, and I haven't been able to race with her since. And I said, how long was the operation ago? She said about 2 years ago. And I went, she wants to race, mate. She wants to race.
Yeah.
And she started crying with joy because she loved racing Janet, whatever the dog was called. And she was like, can I really race her? And I said, I think so, mate. Yeah, I think she wants you to race her. And as soon as she put the collar back on the dog started running around, flipping around, jumping over the fence. And then I felt better. What?
It's amazing.
I know, right? But at the time, the vision was wrong. My interpretation of it was wrong. It wasn't clear. It's a lot clearer these days. But at the time, it was also fucking new. So I was embarrassed about my mistake because at the time I was feeling quite confident with it. And I was like, it's definitely a trike. I'll talk to her about the trike. And it turns out that she had been racing and she hadn't raced for 2 years because the dog was injured, but the dog's fine now. And she always wanted to race again and she was heartbroken. So what had happened is I wasn't picking up on the dog's sadness. I was picking up on her sadness for not being able to race the dog anymore. But the dog was channeling it to me because I can hear what the dog, connect to the dog. So anyway, some funky shit. But in every scenario where I've had a bit of information pop in and I've shared it with someone, I've taken a bit of a leap of faith and I've shared it, it's been able to unlock something for that person and bring them happiness or stress relief or a little bit more peace than they had before. And now I'm just like, oh fuck, like this is what I need to do. I would need to help addicts unlock some doors, help them through the doors, and then fly off and go and help some other people, but so that's kind of where I'm at, guys.
Got a lot of love and support on the old live chat there if you want to have a little look.
You beautiful people. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Do you guys have any questions? I thought we'll just chat about it now.
Well, I have written down loads of stuff, but you've pretty much answered most of them, apart from one.
Ooh. Go on, hit me.
And that question was, what are your future plans? And how are you going to use your gift? What are you going to do with it?
Great question, mate. Thank you for asking. Definitely is not something we pre-recorded or pre-rehearsed, so... I know, I was joking. Let me just think, is there anything else I need to touch on before I answer that question? Because when I move on, I don't want to have to turn back and not answer anything else. So I will just touch on Danny and Mickey one more time, because their retreat was the real life-changing retreat. So I mentioned I've been 2 months sober now. So I think it was the 26th of September I went to Costa Rica. I think I flew out on the 25th. So
do you have a video by any chance? Do you have a video at some point you can show everybody?
Yeah. I'm making all the trailers at the minute and all that jazz, yeah. But there's just a lot of footage. I've just got to work on it, yeah. And so I logged in 2 weeks sober, essentially, just before I went to Costa Rica. And I'd done 2 weeks because my relapses were every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, the 2 week cycle was easy. So I was like, oh, brilliant. This time at the end of the 2 weeks, I'm off to Costa Rica, so I can't relapse. So I was like, brilliant. And so it was a new moon before I went. And then when I was out there, it was a full moon. And the energy of the moon, again, me going a bit lunatic and being around 16 other people who were all gifted, who all had these extrasensory perceptions, if you want to call them that, some people were healers, some people were feelers, some people were hearers, as in they could hear things, some people could see things. And there were 3 people there who could hear, see, and feel, who had the trifecta, the trinity, as they call it. And it's something everybody gets. My understanding is everybody gets it at a certain point in their life. It all depends on the person and their path and blah, blah, blah. This is just mine. And so I got to Costa Rica being able to see things and hear things, but I wasn't yet feeling things, if you like. Not feeling, obviously, on an emotional level, but feeling on a spiritual level is different. And I don't even know how to describe it. I would describe it as using your body as an antenna. So we often use the word feelings as, you feel something on your skin, or you feel an emotion. Whereas this is like a full body feeling connection where you can communicate with people on I don't even know how to describe it. I'm struggling to describe a lot of this shit, so I'll come back to that one. I'll try and think of another articulate way to describe it. But how if I've connected with somebody and I'm receiving information from them, from their upstairs, from their higher self, to give them some extra tools or to give them some extra information, I don't just see or hear it. I feel it in my body. So particularly if somebody, for example, one lady I spoke to, she had a broken collarbone. She had a broken collarbone that had healed. But in the collarbone, it had done something to the nerve, so she had nerve damage in this, and it was affecting her shoulder, which was affecting her fingers. So she could only write with one hand because this collarbone, she was struggling to write with the other or do something with the other anyway. And she told me this, she told all this information after the fact that we'd spoken for about 10 minutes, and then my left shoulder started to ache. Like it was, and I started to go, oh my fucking Christ. I said, excuse me, I've just got to stretch my arm. It really fucking hurts. And she went, oh, I broke this collarbone. And I was like, really? And at this point, I'm like, all this funky shit's happening. I'm going, what do you mean you broke your collarbone? Tell me more. And she starts going into all this stuff about how she fell off a bike and blah, 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 blah. And then she's struggling to write. And at that point, while she was explaining, I was on my phone and I couldn't type with my left thumb. I could type with my right, but this left thumb kept on hitting the wrong letters and I was having to go back and back. I couldn't hit the right letter with my thumb whilst getting this pain while she's talking to me. And I just remember saying to her, I didn't connect all of this until after I'd spoken to her, but afterwards on reflection, I was like, oh fuck, I was feeling her shit.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to explain. I've had it a couple of other times where I've had migraines around people who are suffering from migraines, and I've been sick when somebody was, my sister was morning sickness. I was waking up, Sam and I were waking up and I just started throwing up, and I'd get out of bed and start throwing up for no reason at all. And I'd rush to the toilet and start throwing up. And this happened 2 or 3 mornings in a row until I spoke to my sister. And then she told me she was having morning sickness for the last 2 or 3 days. Like the weirdest stuff, the weirdest shit. So when I was in Costa Rica, I could see and hear, but I couldn't feel, not like this. So the breath work and the meditation and the plant medicine and the environment and the energy at Costa Rica, it unlocked a door that allowed me to see, hear and feel at the same time. And that one almost sent me crazy as well, because I was in the airport on the way home and I thought I was going to have a fit. I thought I was going to collapse on the floor and start convulsing because I had this feeling of wanting to convulse. And then I was looking around and I could hear so much from everyone walking past. And then I was having to close my eyes and listen to music and just try and focus on my body, because all I wanted to do was kind of just move, because I had this build up of charged fidgety leg syndrome, but all over my body, you know. It was fucking horrible. And I've had that on the plane. I've had it at the airport. I had it on the train up to London the other day when I went to London with Sam. So being in public spaces for me is now a thing. It's now an issue for me, because I'm just picking up on so much information from other people. It's difficult to process. So I don't like to go out anymore. And the only people I want around me are the people that are in my inner circle and that I'm connected to. But if Grace comes back from college with a sickness bug, I've got a sickness bug before she's got the symptoms. Sam coming on her period, I start getting cramps in my lower abdomen before she gets the cramps. It's so I now have to be so conscious with who I'm around, because if I'm around somebody who is really ill or really poorly or really sick, like I'm in for a tough half an hour conversation. Do you know what I mean? It's so bizarre. It's so hard to explain. So I'm learning loads. I'm trying to connect myself with as many spiritual people as I can to try and make sense of all of this. But it's and that's why I haven't been on social media, because it's just been too much. I'm just like, nobody's going to understand. Everyone's going to ridicule. Nobody will get it, you know. Whereas that fear has been completely turned upside down, because the people that I have spoken to recently, all of them get it. It's weird. There's this global awakening happening. So many people are waking up at the same time, or starting to wake up, or going into their wake up journey, or and it's amazing how many people I know over 35, over 40 who have all gone through some stuff, who have all witnessing synchronicities, who are all receiving information that they can't make sense of, and because it all happened to me relatively quickly. My understanding is, for a lot of people, it takes this is a process that takes years and decades to unfold. Whereas for me, it slapped me in the face within 3-4 months. You know, it was after I started talking to Mickey in that meditation. And I did drugs. I had a couple of lines on my birthday, September the 10th. And we had a barbecue and had a couple of cheekies. And that was kind of, I went into it consciously going, oh, this will be the last time I do cocaine. And I remember sitting down before I did my first line. And I remember looking at it going, I don't actually need this now. I'm having a great time with my friends and family. This is not something I want now. And I remember looking at it going, this is the last time I'm going to do drugs. I just know it is. I just felt so certain and so sure of myself. I hadn't had a confidence like that with regards to cocaine in particular ever. I've never had that feeling. So I was looking at the line I'd knocked up, and I was thinking, well, if this is going to be the last one, I might as well have one last enjoyment from it, because there was an enjoyment element, there was a euphoria, there was a pleasurable thing, but I'd never really spent too much time in the pleasure because I was trying to get to the clarity, I was trying to get to the peace. So I'd do so much coke that I'd be pranged out, I'd just be staring at a wall for 9 hours, you know. I'd get to a point where it was just clear and nothing was bothering me, and that's the place I would try and stay in for as long as possible. And I remember doing the first line and going, "Yeah, it feels all right." And then went back to the party and was like, "Yeah, cool." Did a couple more that night. Nowhere near like I would usually do. I'd usually, you know, get an 8-ball and go on a fucking binge for 3 days. But I think I maybe did 4 or 5 lines over the course of 6-7 hours, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah. All right, well, we'll see you later then, mate. Thanks for all the memories." I remember talking to this powder like, we had a rough time, didn't we, mate? Yeah, we had a rough one. And I'm there talking to it like it's my friend. Just like, "I appreciate everything you've done for me. Thank you for the memories. You know, you were there when I needed you, and you helped me through it." And again, it's the similar thing with that TikTok that I did that went viral, where I talk about how emotional eating saved your life. Like 100% cocaine saved my life.
It was your mate, wasn't it?
My best friend. It's the one thing I could rely on, that I could always get a dealer to my house before I could get a friend on the phone. That's the crazy thing. I had 3 or 4 people on my phone that I could get here. Yeah. I could get them here in 5-10 minutes with an 8-ball, and it would be difficult to get a friend on the phone to spend as much time as I needed to have them on the phone for. You know, with all the bullshit I was going on, I'd need 5-6 hours to vent, and nobody could give me that, because it's not all about me, believe it or not. So coke was always my crutch. It was my best friend. It was the girl that was always there for me when I needed it, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So my goodbye to cocaine was positive. I left it on a good note. You know, I didn't want to close the door on a sour note. I didn't want to close it on the door with, "You've ruined my life, you've taken everything away from me," because it had.
Yeah.
But I now know it took it away from me to get to this moment, to get to this point where there's just so much positivity. You know, the beautiful thing I've learned about the universe is yin yang. It's positive, negative. As Ren would say, it's a pendulum swinging between the light and the dark. I prefer to say yin yang. It's the same thing. But you cannot have a good time without a bad time. And the beautiful thing about yin yang is when you're going through hell, as deep as you go, you will go as high as that very soon afterwards. And there's this exchange of being in a car, driving down the road, and hitting a pothole and getting a flat tire, and it will ruin your day. But then when you fix the flat tire and you carry on down the road, it then starts to go downhill. You can go really fast, you go around the corners, and you go loop the loop. And like, you have to have the pothole in order to smoke the pot. Does that work? I don't think that worked. But you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to get a flat tire.
Yeah.
It's okay to get a flat tire.
It reminds me of the time that I did have a flat tire,
yes.
and you were like knight in shining armour.
Did I pick the car up?
Yeah, right, guys, what had happened is I'd left your house, and by the time I got less than 3 minutes down the road, I had 2 flat tyres. It was almost like someone had slashed them, wasn't it? But I did hit a slight pothole. I wonder who it was. So I'm going with the pothole because I believe that, you know, we won't go there. So
I'm going with DJ, but carry on.
No, you are. I know, because I just left and then I had 2 flat tyres. So I've pulled over to the side of the road and I'm like, shit, I've got 2 flat tyres. And it's the front and the back. It's not even like it's just the back. It's the front and the back. So the people turn up, don't they, to help me change the wheel, and they do this. And he's going, I can't, because my car was so low at the time. So I can't get the jack underneath it to lift it up. So I'm trying to lift up the car while he gets, and it's not happening. And I've gone, well, actually, I know a really strong man who only lives round the corner. And he came like a knight on a white horse, right, with Sam and our Sean. Well, no, and you, Sam and Sean just went, whoop, finger, picked the car up, chucked it on the jack.
Yeah, I wish.
It was just, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you saved
picked the
me that
car
day.
up with my erect penis.
I don't remember that one, but anyway.
Well, this is the advantage when you've been training strongman for a while. If a car needs picking up,
You can do it.
I could pick the fucking car up.
Words were, I actually know a tree who can come and help us.
So let me. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, Mickey and Danny, the retreat. The one last thing I would say is Terry owns the retreat, the premises, and his business model was to rent his premises out for people who run retreats. So Mickey and Danny host retreats, and they go from venue to different venues to host their retreats. So I was invited to the Costa Rica one, and then they moved on to Brazil, and I think then they went to Ibiza, and so they're traveling the world, living the life, hosting these healing retreats, and providing a space for people to go and connect back to Earth, connect back to Pachamama, and to connect to your higher self, and to be in an environment and a nurturing, healing, loving, safe place where you're guided through these insane, life-altering steps. Which, I will say this from the bottom of my heart: if Danny and Mickey hadn't walked into my life when they had, and this had started happening, I'd be in a hospital right now. I remember very vividly talking to Mickey on many occasions, and saying to him, mate, I need to talk about this to so many people. And he did the best thing, and it was the best thing at the time, and I knew it was the best thing. And he said, for now, mate, just keep it to yourself. For now, just keep it to yourself, because you have no idea what's about to happen. And this was just when I was seeing little visions, little things were popping into my head. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm going insane. And then it started talking to me. And then the trees started talking to me. And then my dog started talking to me. And I was sitting there going, I can't tell anyone about this. They're going to lock me up. And I would go through these manic phases of getting so much information in one go. I didn't know what to do with it. And I was literally just, and it looked like a breakdown. It looked like schizophrenia. It looked like I was losing my mind, and it did feel like that way. At one point, I was a bit scared. That's when I went up to the cows, and I was like, "I'll just sit with the cows. They'll protect me." And they did. They all sat around me, created a little ring. Bertie the bull. I'll share some videos because I've got some great interactions with them. But this bull, this 1,500 kilo, you've seen it. He's huge. A monster. A monster. This thing is easily 10 times bigger than me. Easily, if not more. And when he steps, just one step, the ground vibrates. Like when I'm standing next to him and he puts his foot down, and I'm like, oh my God, I can feel it.
I don't know if I could do it, Dan. After our last encounter with a bull, I don't think I could do it. Do you want to tell him what happened at the last encounter with a bull?
I've got it on video somewhere. Kaz and I went on this walk, and we went through this field, and we got lost, and saw some workers on the other side of the field, and we went, hello mate, how do we get out of here? We got lost. And we walked for like an hour just in one direction, and just trying to find out how to get out of this field area.
Found a fishing lake. We found all sorts, didn't we? It was mental.
Walked into this field, and there was a big fishing lake, this fishing lake thing, and these workers, and we walked towards the lake and talked to the workers, and I said, how do we get out of here, mate? And he goes, oh, you want to go down there, turn left? But I would get out of there pretty quickly. There's a bull in that field. And just like that, Kaz and I looked over to our left, and there is this monster bull, this black bully with these huge horns. Thankfully, he was laying down in the sun. But this monstrous, like muscles and muscles and muscles. It's just this huge, magnificent beast. And as we looked over, he just looked at us, and we were like, yeah, we should go now, Kaz. We should leave now. So we turned around and started walking towards the gate, and I thought I'd play a prank on Kaz at this point. And I got my phone out and was recording us, and then I pretended that the bully was running towards Kaz. I went, Kaz, go! And the look on Kaz's face, I think she thought the bull was actually coming, because I'd never seen Kaz go from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 3 meters. I mean, I'd never seen you run before, mate. And then, you sprinted. What? Say again?
You didn't know I could move that fast.
Yeah, it was the very thing. Very funny. But Bert's been cool, been very helpful, and I just want to take a moment to just single out Mickey and Danny, because it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of responsibility to put on somebody. So I won't say what I've said to them personally. Well, I will. I've told them that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be sober. Like, I really feel like their introduction into my life, plus my dad coming back, plus some other lifestyle changes, it's all accumulated to me getting sober for the first time ever. I've done a year without coke, but I was on the painkillers, and I've done a year without the painkillers, but I was on the coke. I've never been sober off those two drugs. So for me to get 2 months is, I'm proud of myself for doing that. But in the same breath, that pride and feeling of accomplishment of finally overcoming this demon, I know it wasn't me in the first place. It was this connection to whatever it is that has allowed me to remain sober, because I get the information to process the energy, whereas before I wasn't. So when that energy comes in and I feel like I'm getting charged and I need to go and do something, it tells me to go and help someone. It tells me to go and give some love, go and clean someone's drive for no money. Just go and help someone. So I now know what to do with it, and so I've been jet washing the neighbours' drives. No money, just been popping on, knocking on their door. Do you want your drive jet washed? Yeah, okay. And the neighbours that I've fallen out with, I've offered them to do the jet wash, and they've all said no. And I think it's because they thought I was going to charge them, or offer to charge them. Whereas they didn't know, but I was just like, do you want some love? Do you want? I'll do your driveway for free if you really want it. And they all turned, no one know anything from you. I was like, everyone else in the row has had their driveway done for free, and there's just these 3 dirty drives. Go fuck yourself. I tried.
I'll tell you the state of their minds is the colour of their drives.
Yes. No, I like that. That's very good. So I've been the last 3 months, but the last 2 months in particular, the last 3 months though, I've made an effort to go and just help people just because.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed, and I'm going to be talking literally now, but I know some people won't understand the words I'm saying here. But if you go and give love for free,
yep,
everything you need comes back, and it comes back not only 10 times more, it comes back infinitely more. So before I met Terry, and he hired me for this job, I was broke, bankrupt. No, it's the same story. I've been peddling for the last 2 years, bankrupt. I've had no money. I've had a couple of £100 here and there. I've signed on to the government, and just trying to make ends meet. Donations and YouTube money, and just trying to get by. And and I then went on this path of blah blah blah, and just started helping people. I did some driveways up here, helped some strangers. I helped a guy who broke down, and blah blah blah. Just went on this mission to go and help people. And then 10 days later, I get a job and all my money problems are taken care of.
Mate.
Like 10 days later. It's just so weird. It's so weird. And then I get a free flight to Costa Rica, or a free retreat. And then I get a job. And so many other examples where it just started to pour in, and all I was doing was helping people.
Where as a generation, we've literally forgotten to help each other.
Yeah.
Not for money.
Yeah.
Just to help.
We've been
just to love and support. Now, lockdown brought all that out. And then as soon as they let everyone out, everyone fucking forgot what it was like to look after your neighbour and to help each other, right? Now, that way of living is the natural way of life. You help each other out.
You look back to wartime.
Yeah. The fast pace with the internet and everything else, it's killing it.
It is, mate, and I can't sit on my little high stool now and start preaching, because it's all very new for me and whatnot. But what I do know, what I now know compared to how I was before, is that if anybody is struggling with anything like an addiction or whatnot, the 3 single best things that I did that put me on a path to sobriety was ice baths, meditation, and giving love for free. Those 3 things. Oh, and taking my phone away. Getting rid of my phone. ice baths, meditation, and just helping people. Those 4 things have kept me sober. No urges, no cravings, no nothing. I've been into 2 house gatherings where drink and alcohol have been present, and I've just sat there with my Mary J, just loving life, enjoying the connections. Everyone else is drinking and on coke, and I'm just enjoying myself, and just no need. I didn't want to get involved, didn't want it, didn't feel like I needed it. I was already high on life, just around everyone in the room enjoying themselves. So I now understand what people say when they say they can get drunk on the atmosphere. I'm like, oh, they're kind of connected. Maybe they just don't realise it, you know. So yeah. So if anyone does have any questions, drop them in the comments. But I think now we'll slowly wrap up and just explain where we're headed next. Do you guys have any last questions?
No, I've still got my outstanding question. Do you want to go through any of these comments?
Yeah, let's go. Do you want to read them out?
Oh, hang on. You've asked me before I put my glasses on. Right, okay, so let me go back. Right, Beth says, it's beautiful. That's why you should open up. Higher consciousness is everything. Rebecca says, it's amazing to watch you experience all this in real time. It was very clear when you did the movie reaction that something was very, very different with you. There was a calmness about that day.
Interesting.
Libby says, the truth is that you can carry others, just be alongside. You can't carry others, just be alongside them. Hope you found some balance and maintain it. Good luck with it all. Thanks, Libs.
Thanks, Libby, mate. It's very kind of you.
Rebecca says, I remember you saying there was no way you'd be able to go, and showing the name of the airport. Yeah, that's what we talked about, wasn't it? You were so convinced there was no way. It's all meant to be if you're listening.
Let me figure out what the Liberia airport
translation was. Yeah. Sam said, you need to help me with my, agoraphobia.
Yep.
Sam, drop him a message or an email, babes. What is your email now, darling? Do you want to tell everybody, because you've changed it?
I have. It's on the about page, but it's Daniel Nichols iFly at Gmail. I'm just going to put it in the chat at gmail.com.
Thank you.
So Nichols is my biological. It's almost the name on my birth certificate. So I've had all my license and passport and everything changed, and I'm going through the process of Facebook asking me for my new identification because they know me as Wheeler and blah, blah, blah. But Daniel Nichols is my name. Has been since I've been born, and that's what I'm going back to now. iFly is the branding of Danny and Mickey's business, ultimately. Do you know what it stands for?
No.
I love this story. So when it was their first retreat as well. So there was 16 of us, including Danny and Mickey and his team. He had 4 or 5 in his team altogether. So 11, 12 people who went to the retreat. And you know when Christians or religious people will say grace at food, and then they'll go amen, for example. Yeah. Well, a lot of the people in the retreat, like myself, weren't religious and had a big kind of resistance against anything religious. I've been a self-confessed atheist for so many years, up until 6 months ago. So it's I was very resistant to any God language. If there was any God language there, I probably would have walked out. But they translated it to different labels, which I got on a lot better with, divine and spirit and all that type of stuff. I much preferred that language. But when we would eat, we would essentially say grace, do what the Christians did and say grace. But Mickey would say a passage from his scriptures and whatnot. And at the end of saying grace, essentially, he would tell a story about how one of his kids came up to the dinner table when there was 4 or 5 or 6 or something, and just spurted out, "Thank you for the food, thank you for the laughter, thank you for the love, may you always be in bliss," something along those lines. And then she said, at 6 years old, "I fucking love you," and then walked off. So Mickey and Danny now repeat that. Rather than saying amen, they say, "I fucking love you."
I love you.
I fucking love you. So over the week, after we repeated "I fucking love you" so many times, it then just became rather than saying goodbye, to each one of us, we'd go, I fucking love you. I fucking love you. I fucking love you. And that would be enough. And then the letters of I fucking love you are iFly. I fucking love you. iFly.
I like that. That's
I really like
beautiful.
it as well. I really like it. So I put it at the end of my email, Daniel Nichols, iFly. So it actually means Daniel Nichols, I fucking love you. It's nice, isn't it?
That's nice.
I think it's quite nice. So, so where I'm moving to now, guys, is I'm gonna put a line in the sand. I might do a. If there's any comments on videos and stuff, I might do the odd video trying to explain any questions anyone has about kind of my shit. But ultimately, the content on my channel, I've rebranded to the Spiritual Superman. I've rebranded on all my platforms, which is I was thinking about setting up a brand new one. I've set up a new Behind the Mask, so I'm moving my interviews to another channel, and I've already got 4 or 5 recorded with people from the retreat and whatnot. The one with Terry comes out at what day are we on? Saturday. Probably comes out Monday, Tuesday. So that's a great interview. Terry is he's got 4 black belts: judo, taekwondo, kickboxing, and something else. He's now a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, black belt in Krav Maga, won world championships at blue belt and purple belt at jiu-jitsu. Had a TV show called The Human Weapon on the History Channel for 9 years. Trained in MMA for 30 years. Almost made it to the UFC, but didn't. A world champion boxer, a world champion jiu-jitsu, judo. What this guy doesn't know about mixed martial arts or anything to do with his hands is just not even worth knowing. This is just an elite athlete. So hearing his story was remarkable. He had 30 gyms at one point, and then COVID hit, bankrupted him, and then built this retreat, and he's flying again, But that whole story of his, I could relate to his story a lot. Reaching the top of a mountain and then falling off the cliff it's not fun, especially when you've done it 3 times. So I could really relate to him, and we got on great, which I'm really, really, really grateful for, because he's a great male guide. So I've gone from having no male guides to, forgive me. I've had one male guide, you, for a long time now, and I love you.
Love you too.
But like that fatherly figure, I see you as a big brother rather than a father. So I've got my dad's back, my father's back. I've got a male guide in Terry, a male guide in Danny and Mickey, a male guide in Jeremy. And I've got my granddads as my male guides as well. They're up there knocking around, giving me some information. So I've now got more guides than I know that I can shake a stick at, quite literally. And it's like life is pretty fucking amazing these days. So I will not complain. I can't complain. I literally have got nothing to complain about. It's so unusual for me not to be bitching and moaning about something. Oh, I could complain about something. Houston Airport. Oh, fuck me. Houston Airport is the worst. 6 hours it took me to get through passport control.
Is it better or worse than Newark?
Newark is better, but still fucking terrible.
Right.
6 hours.
6 hours to get through passport control. Houston is
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, Texas Airport is so this is
Houston,
what they do, right?
They obviously weren't talking about the spaceship, they were talking about the airport. Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have no lift off.
Airport is shit.
I'll give you a brief summary. This is one of my comedy skits that I've written down to go back into stand-up, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm not going to perform it now. But ultimately, I flew into Liberia or Libera, as they prefer to call it. Libera to Houston. Houston is 4-hour flight, right? 3 hours and 45 minutes or whatever it is. So I landed at Texas. Now I had 7 hours layover at Texas to get back to London. So it then goes Texas, Houston to Heathrow. So I got a 7-hour layover, which is fine because the last trip, it took me 2 hours to get through passport control. So I thought, great, 2 hours, I'll have 5 hours to do some work and have a nap and whatnot. So as we're landing into Houston, the pilot cockily arrogantly, confidently goes, hello, ladies and gentlemen, we are landing at Texas Houston. The time is 10 to 5. I'd just like to say we're landing 15 minutes early, so be prepared to get your bags early and enjoy your holiday. I was like, oh, great. Well, this is a nice pilot. This is beautiful. 45 minutes later, we're still on the runway. Because he got there 15 minutes early, there was no space for us to go in. So he was then clogging up the rest of the fucking runway. People couldn't fly because the taxi thing had been full up. 45 minutes we're on this fucking plane, and then the pilot walks down towards the end to go out the back door, so to speak. And he walks down the aisle like this. Not wanting to look at anyone because we were all like 10 fucking minutes early, mate. 10 minutes. So we finally got off. So I'm 45 minutes into my 7-hour layover, right? We walk down the ramp and get to the passport control. And Houston, Texas has got these. I wonder if I can find a photo of it. Houston Airport Passport Control. I wonder if I can. They've got these. When you go to. Let me just see if there's there we go. There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Look, right in the middle.
There it is. Right. Google Chrome. Right. Right. That photo on the right-hand side. Can you see it, Kaz? No, you
can't. No, I'm looking on my phone to see if I can see it.
You'll see it in a minute. But the people watching at home, you'll see that there's these queuing lines that they use those tapes. Those retractable tapes and those poles.
They don't let you walk through. You're not allowed to unclip them, are you?
No, exactly. You're shuttled in there like a fucking sheep, right? So that one to get your passport scanned took 2.5 hours, right? So there is easily 1,000 people there. Several flights have landed. 2.5 hours. I was standing in that queue for 2.5 hours, right? And then my backpack was 16 kilos because I had all my filming equipment in there and whatnot. So I'm standing with this backpack, 16 kilos, which is a heavy backpack, and for 2.5 hours. So by the end of it, I'm dripping, I'm sweating, I'm agitated, I haven't eaten, I haven't fucking had a nap. I'm quite frustrated. And I get to the passport guy, and he goes, "Business or pleasure?" And I went, "Well, it was meant to be fucking pleasure, mate." and I said, "Have you seen the queue?" And he went, "Yeah, don't get cheeky. Give me your passport." So I give him the passport, and he goes, "Yeah." And anyway, I leave the passport control, and as you go round the corner, you have to go down a couple of corridors. You turn a corner to the X-ray machine, whatever it's called. What do you call that? Security. And the 1,000 people that you've just been queuing with, the 2.5 hour wait, they're all in the security in another fucking queuing thing, waiting to put their luggage through the security scanners. 2.5 hours there as well, because it's the same time. And it's even a bit slower, I would say, because the conveyor belt moves so fucking slowly.
Yeah, they've got to check everything.
And then as soon as someone leaves 125ml toothpaste and you're only allowed 100ml, a big fucking light goes off. Woo! Bomb, 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 bomb. Security comes out. It's only toothpaste. It's fine. It's just the most ridiculous shit, right? So it's 2.5 hours, and as I turn to see the security, I can see all these people, and my gut has just dropped. I'm just like, another 2.5 hours here. So I stand up, so I'm 5 hours in, right, and my bag is finally going through. And because my microphone, these microphones here, these are what folded up, right? So it's folded up, and I've wrapped the cable around the stem. And of course, to an X-ray machine, looks like a pipe bomb with fucking cables coming out of it, right? So I've set the sensor off. 2 guys have come over to search my bag. So they've now taken my whole bag out. They're looking at everything. They're swabbing it, putting it in a machine to see if there's any cocaine in there. And like, guys, I'm sober. I'm like, yeah, all right, mate. That's what they all say, sonny boy. They're scanning it all. And anyway, I'm there for half an hour while they empty my bag out. Do they repack it? Do they fuck? So I've now got to pack my bag again, put it back on, and then so you leave security. It's 5 hours in, right? So I've got 2 hours left to go and get my flight. And as I turn around the corner to go to the gate to get to my flight, there's another fucking railway, and all of those people were in another fucking queue just to get out the fucking door because there's so many people. So I'm never flying to Houston, Texas again. It was the worst experience I've ever had. Not ever had. I've had some pretty bad experiences, but that was up there. That was just the most annoying one.
Mate, I think I'd have lost my shit.
Yeah. Well, thankfully I'm Superman, so I didn't, but I could have done.
I'm Supergirl. I would have flown out.
yeah. So where am I headed? Where am I off to? So I'm working for the next 2 years for Terry. I've told him it's a 2-year contract. I'm not doing any longer than 2 years because I have a mission to go on, and that mission is to build my own retreat. So Sam and I are building a country nature retreat, if you like. Think of it like those tree huts. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Do you remember that film?
Yeah.
Kaz, you remember Robin Hood? Very well,
yes.
You know when Kevin Costner goes out into the woods to meet Little John, and he has and they're all in the trees. So that's essentially that's the vibe. We're going to create a community, a self-sustainable community there, where we have an allotment and an animal sanctuary for farm animals and dogs and cats. You know, a sanctuary, a retreat sanctuary for animals, and then also a self-sustainable retreat community where people can come and live there if they need a shelter, if they need food, if they need shelter, if they need protection, they'll come to this place. My goal is not to charge. I think I'll have to charge for the first year or two just to get it up and running, you know, but by the time we've got the allotment, by the time we've got the animals, by the time whatnot, the goal is to make it purely self-sustainable off-grid. So solar panels for the electricity, collecting the rainwater and filtering it for drinking water, and saunas and hot tubs and all that jazz, and just creating an environment where if someone needs shelter and food and love, they can come to our place and have a tree hut, you know, that's warm and dry with a bed, and they can help work the land, you know, work in the allotment or help build things or whatever, you know, to give them some routine and some discipline and purpose. Ultimately, that addicts are addicts because they lack purpose. Ultimately, but that's what it boils down to. You know, you can go through all the filters. My mum hit me, my dad raped me, blah, blah, whatever it may be. Go through all the bullshit, and then it all filters down into purpose. And all that trauma takes our purpose away. That's what I've ultimately learned. And as soon as somebody injected purpose back into me, I had no desire to take drugs. So there was a huge trigger for me, a positive trigger. And it was like Danny, Mickey and Terry offered me purpose, and I was like, oh fucking hell, I'll have some of that please. My dad came back with unconditional love. I was like, oh mate, I'll have some of that please. And then everything else just seemed to sort itself out. So I'm building a retreat. Ultimately, we've already started.
We did. We started a few weeks ago.
Very, very, very early days. Very early days. Yeah. But we've started. That's the main thing. So it's an acre of ancient woodland which is overgrown and it needs a lot of tender loving care to it. So the mama tree, the big oak tree that there's I put a photo of it up actually a couple of weeks ago now when I wrote the poem, and that tree, that's mama tree, and she's blessed, given me permission to make some changes. I've promised to bring abundance to her. So we've got to not chop down, we've got to clear some brambles and some bushes and some ferns and clear it, and then in return for clearing it, she's asked that we bring an abundance of people and food. So an allotment, ultimately. So I'm going to count how many bushes that we need to remove, and I'll move them to the end of I'm going to move all the bushes to the sides so that they don't die. They're just being removed. And then plant a shitload of vegetables and fruits and mushrooms and make a communal kitchen area with a communal Knights Templar round table, and there's a bomb crater at the bottom of the woodland. So that bomb crater I'm going to turn into essentially an outdoor studio for yoga, martial arts, and performing, because of the natural bowl it's created. It's like a sound haven. No sound gets out, so you can stand in the middle of the bowl and scream, and if you're at the top of the woods, you can't hear it, because the sound just bounces up and goes up to the sky rather than out to people. So I'm thinking having like a concert area, you know, just a small intimate stage where you could do yoga on and meditation on, but also doubles up as a music performance stage. So I'm thinking about doing a stand up there. I'm thinking about doing, bringing some local artists in and putting on some performance nights and bits and bobs like that, really.
Sounds beautiful, mate.
Thanks, mate. And then there's a field out the back that I'm talking to the farmer and want to buy that field off him. And that's where I'm going to put the animals. So kennels and cows and sheep and stuff. And my goal here is to rescue all the farm animals in the area one day and give them a sanctuary where they can live a full life. And then when they eventually die of natural causes, obviously depending on how they die, but if they die of natural causes and it doesn't pollute the meat, then the idea then is to use their body for fuel after they go, like to honour the animal, but not to cut their life too short. So if one of the cows breaks its leg, for example, and has to be put down, then that's a natural cause because it would just die of infection in the wild. So at that point, then we would then self-sustainable community would use that meat to feed everyone on site, and the same for sheeps and whatnot. But and then if the meat is not good for humans, then we'll make some cat food and dog food with it, But the goal there is to give animals a place where they can live a full life, get healthcare, vets on site, all that jazz. But give them an environment where they live without being harmed, without any threat of being killed. And then once they're ready to go, once they get to the end of their life, and if we can still use them, then great. If not, we'll just bury them. But even if we can't eat them, I think the dog food and the cat food and the food for the other animals on site, the ones carnivores anyway.
There's always use, isn't there, with the hide and
indeed,
stuff.
yeah, exactly, yeah, clothing and bedding and leather and there's you use every element.
They'll never be wasted.
Not at all. So that's the goal, because I'm not a vegan. I do love animals more than I will ever be able to articulate, but I'm also an animal myself, and I also love the taste of meat, and I love meat. And there's a big difference between eating a steak that has had a full life and eating a steak that hasn't.
Yeah,
if you want to eat a steak from a cow that hasn't had a full life, go to Tesco's.
Yeah,
it's that simple. If you want to have a steak that's of a cow that's had a great life, go to your local butcher's. They're two different steaks. They're two different things. They're not even. You can't even call one beef, if I'm honest. And also dog food and cat food. I'm a huge fan of raw, proper food for dogs, and I hate the fact that I've had to feed my dogs shit food for a couple of years because I couldn't afford it. I hate the fact that I've had to do that with my cats and dogs. That tins shit off the shelf. Yes, it will keep them alive, but it's not food. It's not proper food. So I want to build a facility, a retreat centre, a sanctuary where addicts can come and stay for free in agreement to help work the land. They get fed, they get watered, they get a tree house to live in. They can leave whenever they want. They can turn up whenever they want. And it just creates this hub that seems just to work. And we'll take it from there, really. So that's the 2-year plan, is to get that up and running within 2 years. Over the next 2 years, I'll be working for Terry and other retreat centres, marketing. I've just got into AI quite heavily this year in particular. So I'm building custom AI bots for people as well behind the scenes. So it's just another source of revenue. So I'm helping businesses create custom AI bots for their business to help reduce costs ultimately. These AIs these days are so powerful that you don't need to pay for marketing anymore. You don't need to pay for a PR writer. You don't need to pay for a content writer. You don't need a web designer. You don't need a graphics designer. You don't need any of these skill sets that I've got. Like I spent 20 years building websites, graphic designing, writing content, scripting content, and now it's been completely replaced by an AI. But I've pivoted. I've learned that if you're not learning how to prompt AI now, you're not going to have a job in 10 years. It's you've got to jump on and teach yourself how to prompt an AI. Super easy. Anyone can learn it. Just got to spend a bit of time learning it. But I've spent the time learning it, so I now know how to build these custom AI chatbots. So the plan is to go and help people with their businesses, alleviate some overheads, reduce their costs, and increase their profits.
Have a job for you there, mate.
Sorry?
I might have a job for you there, mate.
Well, we'll talk, buddy. We'll talk. I can't charge you anyway. but I'd help you for free gladly. So and then outside of the business stuff is just building the retreat and helping people that I come across on a day to day. I've made so many friends just talking to random people. I go for a walk and I sit at the bus stop for 10 minutes just staring at the sky and whatnot. Someone will sit down and be like, "Yeah, mate, how you doing?" "How you doing?" Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. Oh, mate, I was in Costa Rica when I heard that. Absolutely.
Mate, I was so tempted to message you or call you, and I just
gutted.
thought, he's in the retreat, don't upset him, no, don't. But you will find out some point anyway.
all the greats get taken too soon. Matthew, Robin, like Michael. Probably best he went a bit earlier, but
Yeah, we'll leave him there.
What else? That's where I'm off to. That's what I'm doing. So the content on my page will be changing from kind of comedy into addiction / spiritual shit, ultimately. And then Behind the Mask will be on another. Going to continue doing the interviews. I love doing those.
Yeah, you're good at doing those.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. And that's about it, really. That's about it. I think. Oh, thank you so much for helping me with this, guys. I really appreciate you.
You've just said loads. That's like 2 years worth of work. You've
been building
it up.
I've been wanting to get this off my chest for so long. Like, I know we're going to get off this. I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, I've got to mention this, and this. But I think those are the headlines. So ultimately, Danny and Mickey helped me get sober. Their retreats are amazing. I met Terry. His retreat's amazing. I now work with Terry. I'm working with Danny and Mickey. I'm building the AIs, building my retreat. I'm back to doing coaching. Back to, I don't want to call them clients because I'm not charging, but I talk to people every day that need my help. So I'm helping those every day. So if anyone is struggling and they need a friend and they haven't got any money, hit me up. I'm yours. Just let me know when and where.
You got a friend in me. I love it.
Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up? If you guys got any questions, let me know in the chat.
Has anybody in the comments raised anything?
It's a little bit quiet in there, but it's Saturday night. I wasn't expecting many people there.
Yeah. Everyone's just saying they've just checked in to say hi. Natural Ginger came in as well to say hi. I think she's gone off now. There's loads of like hi, and loving the advice, loving the way forward. Loads of love, to be honest, dude.
Oh, nice. Megan, are you still here in the chat? Let me know, mate. Did you just fart?
No, it was you.
Oh, was it?
Oh, it was Kaz.
Oh, it must have been me.
Just blame Kaz.
You do yours a lot louder than that, let me tell you.
Now, I do have a video for us to end on.
Ooh.
Okay.
What have you got?
No, Kaz, it's not what we talked about, but I will repost our video. But I do want to end on this video because it's how we ended every show, and because this is officially the last. Well, it's not even. I haven't even called it the Dan Wheeler Show because it's the Dan Wheeler's dead. He's gone.
Feels weird you saying the name.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know. Well, I do want to take a second to kind of, I'm going to talk to him like it's not actually me, it's a third person, but
Megan is here.
that's awesome, Megs. Bear with me. The Dan Wheeler Show, the Dan Wheeler name, with the person that I was for so many years. It's I'm obviously still that guy, but in terms of a personality, in terms of my direction and where I want to go and my purpose and passion and how that's all changed, like it just doesn't feel right to keep that name because so much has changed. Like
I agree.
6 months ago when I would call myself Daniel Wheeler, I couldn't receive all this, so I felt like such a different person that I didn't want to call myself Wheeler anymore. And I went through this phase of going, what the fuck am I going to call myself? And I was thinking about changing my name. I was thinking about moving countries and doing all this jazz. And then I was talking to my dad, and we were having a heart-to-heart. There's one particular day is when we first started talking. We went to this pub. I think it was the second or third time we met, and we just started to open up. We just started to, I didn't know the dude 30 years. I didn't know him, so I wanted to get to know him. And the more we talked, the more I realised I was just talking to myself because this guy has done everything I've done, is into the same things I'm into. Like it's been so weird.
Like twins. I met your dad at your birthday.
You're
and
very alike.
it was sitting in stereo with Dan. It was the weirdest experience for me. It was like you were just twins, one either side of the room. It was like, what the hell?
So the second time we went, I think it was the second time, we went to this pub in Newark, in Newark, which is in East Sussex. A lovely country pub. It's called the Royal George, I think, or the Rose. I can't remember. And we sat down, and the waitress was a very attractive lady. She must have been 22, 23, 24, something like that. Very attractive, had very large boobs. And she came down, and she bent down to give the menus, and she had an open top on, so we had nice free view. And as she walked away, my dad turns around and goes, "Boobies!" And I just started laughing. I was like, "Have you heard me say that on a show?" And he goes, "You do a show? What show?" Like, he'd never seen anything I'd done because I'd blocked him on Facebook years ago. So he didn't know I did the show. He didn't know I did a podcast. He didn't know any of this. He didn't know that one of my buttons on my thing is called Boobies. The shield of boobies. There we go. And then he just turned around and goes, "Boobies," as she walked away. And I was like, "Oh, you're definitely my dad then. You're definitely my dad."
For that one.
Yeah, I know. It was very bizarre. I forgot where I was going with this conversation.
You were saying about your dad and how things had changed and how you just met him and...
Yeah, I can't remember now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
Anyway.
so before we do the outro, Megan, mate, I just wanted to have a little chat with you, mate. Apologies, it's in public, but fuck it, let's roll with it. Megan and I had a bit of a we ended on a sour note, shall we say, before I fucked off to Costa Rica and after the film. Megan was a key part of our community, and she come on the lives daily, huge support. She set up the Discord, she did an amazing job there. Was an integral part of the film that I did with Ren, so an integral part there. And before I left, I'd open up a Discord with some of the members. I think there was about 20 of us in there, 30 of us, something like that. Small group. And we'd talk often in there. We'd bounce ideas off and whatnot. And then it got to the point where we had two sour eggs in the bunch, shall we say. There were two members in particular who were just turned quite toxic towards the end. So, and at this point, I was getting hints of previous communities that had turned toxic. And this was the point I was thinking about closing it down to, didn't want to do the podcast anymore. All this shit was happening. So it was like, do you know what? I'm just going to end the podcast, the Discord, because it's now causing me stress again. And from my perspective, I'm not saying this was the case, but from my perspective, I was trying to stay out of it. And the more I was staying out of it, the more toxic it got. So I was like, that's it. We're closing it. And Megan really helped identify the people who were being toxic. And after good chats with Megan and her partner David and Glocky and a couple of the gangs, I removed these two members from the group and then just closed the Discord. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anyone what I did. So from their perspective, I just vanished. So I do want to take a moment to apologise to anyone who felt that I'd blocked or kicked them off because they did something wrong. That wasn't the case. It was two other people who had broke the camel's back with their straws, and I just needed to not run away from it, but there was a door I just didn't want to open anymore. So I closed the whole group down, kicked everybody out. But just before I did that, I was trying to organise a couple of the guys to come to the retreat that I'd been invited on. So Danny and Mickey, as lovely as the offer was to myself, they even said if I wanted to bring anybody, they would fund that as well. So there was a conversation going on where I was talking to Megan, I was talking to David, I was talking to Lonnie, I was talking to Danza, I was talking to Glocky, I was talking to Jack. There was 7 or 8 of us who were all quite connected, and we were got on really well, and then it just turned quite nasty, particularly not nasty. Nasty is the wrong word. It turned negative, and there was a negative energy amongst some of the people in the group. I won't list the names, but myself and Megan ended on a bit of a bad note, So there was some negative energy around, and I think from your perspective, Megan, I think certain things were being said that I hadn't said, and I think certain things had been taken out of perspective, and I know I had probably taken some things out of perspective, and was meeting negativity with negativity. I had a lot going on. So I just want to say, Megan, I appreciate you, mate. Thank you for everything that you've done up until that point. I know we didn't end on a positive note, but my experience and my journey with you was nothing but positive. So I hope you're well. I hope David's well. I hope Alfie? Fuck, forgive me, mate. I can barely remember last week, let alone people's names. I think it's Archie. Is it Archie? Eddie! Fuck!
I'm happy you don't.
Not even. I know you're Archie. Forgive me, Eddie. I hope Eddie's well, and I'm not suggesting that we'll, be friends and start talking all the time again. But I did just want to bury that hatchet and just say I hope everything's well, and we did some awesome stuff together, and I'm only looking at the positive. So
Megan has responded, darling, and she said, "Thank you. Definitely puts the situation into a different light."
You always need all perspectives, right? And it's difficult when you've only got a couple to work with. So that's yeah. It's amazing how hindsight, you can look back and things and go, oh, for fuck's sake, I wish I'd not done that. I wish I did that instead. And all it would have taken was for me to put a post in there saying I need some time away. Thanks everyone, but I've got to go. But for me, it was more of a case of I just had to leave. It was, I didn't have time to say that message. There was so much shit going on, all positive, just overwhelmingly positive, that any negativity that was being presented, I was just nope, don't want to deal with that. Don't want to do it. Can't deal with that. Don't want to deal with it. It's yeah, that's just the way it was. I just needed some time.
Glocky says, "Love you, bro." And Megan says, "We're all good. Thanks. It was a shit situation. We are good." Glocky says, "We didn't know what was happening with you inside and didn't know the situation, bro."
I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And then the last thing I will address, not that this is negative, but it's fucking hilarious. All the, I used to call them cunts, but I'm going to call them a different word. All the people that were still struggling have started a monstrous amount of rumours. So I just want to take a moment to clarify. I haven't been in prison. I didn't relapse. I haven't been in a rehab centre. I haven't been locked up. I haven't slit my wrists. I haven't taken an overdose.
You didn't go to the drug barons in Costa Rica.
Sam and I haven't split up. We never split up. We're as tight and as strong as we've ever been, if not stronger. What else did I hear?
You're not living in a cardboard box on the street.
No, not homeless.
I heard that one.
Definitely not bankrupt. Yeah, I think those are all the main ones. Yeah. Mate, some of the shit I was sent. Screenshots, DJ still doing his thing, but screenshots of...
I interact with none of them.
Me either. But there was this one particular screenshot on that shitty forum, and it said something along, I'm paraphrasing, but it's something along the lines of, I've just been told Dan's in prison. He's something along the lines of broken his probation agreement and he's in prison. He's doing 12 years. I was like, what? Where does this stuff come from? Like 12 years? What the fuck did I do?
That was similar to when you were supposed to have lost your driving license as well. You were banned from driving.
Yeah, drink driving apparently.
Yeah,
that one.
You were banned.
I remember that one. No.
So here's what I would like to say. Obviously, I've opened myself up to ridicule over this live and said some pretty outrageous stuff, right? So it's just my personal journey, right? If anybody doesn't like it, that's cool. You're entitled to your opinion. You don't have to tell me. You're welcome to, but you don't have to tell me. I'd recommend just focusing on other people and love, because all I want to do is give positivity. That's all I want to do now. So I'm going to be making positive videos, going to be putting out positive messages. I want to interact with people positively. I want to help people. If you're struggling, I would love to help you. No matter what the struggle is, I might be able to help. I might be able to offer some advice, but I can definitely be a friend to vent to and just to allow you to unload. And I know a couple of people in specialist fields who might be able to offer some help, and I can connect you with those as well. So I've got a pretty wide range of skill set. I don't know if you know I used to be a coach. Did you know?
Oh.
No, I didn't know that, Dan. Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
I've been doing it for years. I love doing it. So if anyone needs any help, please, it's completely for free. There's no catch. I'm not going to try and sell something afterwards. It will just be, you can record it. I don't give a fuck. Like it's just love. I just want to help. Because I'm finding not only do I love helping people, but also my life seems to improve off the back of it. So if you can allow me to help you, then it will help me as well. So, shall we wrap up?
Beautiful.
Shall we wrap up how we always used to wrap up?
Go on then.
I'm thinking I might give it a wrap. I'm
actually going to attempt
I think I might attempt it, and I think if the gods are in my favour, I think I might be able to do it.
I have to say, you almost did it the last time you did it.
Almost did it, but I haven't practiced this in a long time, so I probably won't be able to do it.
You'll be fine. Don't put that energy out there.
Kaz, anything you want to say? Kaz, what are you up to these days? Where can people find your shit?
I'm in the process of setting up the website at the moment.
Nice.
But I'm going to be doing Nessa, Gavin and Stacey tours on Dave Coaches, but it's going to be pub crawls for your hen parties, your stag parties, your birthdays, anything you want. So for the moment, guys, you can get hold of me on all the socials, knock off Nessa, until my website is up and running. And then you can book on and come and see me.
I didn't say promote your shit, but whatever.
Listen,
I feel
I'm going to do it anyway, all right?
Steve, anything you want to say?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
Right.
All I will say is it's good to see you in a happier place.
Thanks, mate. I fucking love you.
I fucking love you too.
I fucking love you, Kaz.
Mate, I love you so much. You're my world. You're awesome.
iFly, baby. Right, gang. It's that time again. It's one last roll of the dice.
I'm gonna enjoy this
one
so
last
much.
nod to the man himself, Ren. Thank you, mate. Without your music, I don't think I'd been in a position to understand all this shit. So thank you for leading the way. Thank you for sharing your light, and offering some hidden messages in your music. It helped me a lot.
You're a ledge.
All right, let's give it a go.
Love you, Lee.
Love you.
Poison in my veins lights a flame in my brain that maintains the pain that may change my frame of mind. Blind, I design rhymes intertwined, double twine, genuine Frankenstein. I made a monster. Conga, music scene, golden ticket, Wonka, conjure. Lyrics in my belly, I got thunder. Younger, everybody wishes they were younger. The older I'm getting, the more I feel the hunger. Bouncing like a welterweight, how to scout to the alpha cells, to alpha beat to doubt. I'm getting to the fall, I shout to mouth to mind. It's with these rhymes, I'm finding that I felt feeling like it's feeling me, believing I'm a demon, I'm a devil. Fuck the game, complete at every level, I'm a vessel. For spirits of channel, I'm a lyrics, I'm a rebel. I raise my fist, the anti-capitalistic pissed, I rebel. Society collapsing, fantastic, now pump the treble. TikTok at the top of the tip of my tongue, and having telepathy, terrified them with the terrible telekinesis. Tantrums, I point to the enemy, so when I'm flowing and growing, I flow and I swallow the flow like a Toblerone. I'm feasting the flow, I'm a beast with the flow, and I'm switching it up and I'm taking it low. Kidding with the black heart in the car park by Primark, jamming Django, one heart, living like a rock star, refine rap to a fine art, Vincent Van Gogh, I start making my mark like Frankie Sinatra. King call me Arthur. And my style is homegrown, I go and Cali weed. Don't need no personal trainer, I got trainers on my feet. You know I got the soul in my bowl when I eat. You know I'm staying grounded when I grind up my beef. But if you got a problem, my brother, I might just put on some rubber gloves and just choke it till larynx ruptures and blood that just bubbles up and the bubbles just double up and you struggle. Like lucky suckers, so subtle at covering up the trouble. Cover up the crime scene, 1990, that's my scene. 19 years was spent rolling the tie green. Obscene fiend in a pair of baggy jeans, putting backy with the green. Roll a fatty, dopamine starts flowing. My cerebellum glowing, the pendulum is slowing. I'm swinging and I'm swaying, but I don't know where I'm going. Mind running Jesse Owens, hallelujah, let it going. All the seeds that I've been sowing, slowly growing like trees. I grow then I preach, I scrap that I teach. Teach over beats to all those that seek. Streets on these streets, streets can be bleak. The bleak was the place, but I rose to my feet.
Oh, it's been fun. Oh, it's been fun.
Thank you so much for having me on.
There we go. One last time.
Done, guys.
That was all right. You're getting a bit emotional? You're getting emotional. You're getting emotional. I'm getting emotional.
You know why? I'm normally the emotional one. I'm not emotional. Do you know why?
Why?
I'm just happy to see you so fucking happy.
I thought you were going to say, I'm just happy he's dead. Finally. Thank you, mate. I love you. Gang, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the chaos. Has been an interesting ride, but hopefully it's over now, and we can all enjoy our utopia in the future and spread some love and joy and cheers. Kaz, fucking love you, mate. Thanks for joining me today. Rolly, I fucking love you, mate.
Dan, we fucking love you too.
And guys, I fucking love you, and I will be back soon. It will be a couple of weeks until I post again, but I'll be back soon with some videos on addiction and self-help and
keep an eye on all your socials.
All that jazz. Yeah, all that